Grove South. What we've learned from St. Louis City Police coming up after CBS News.
I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Sean Malone. Which provider did the Board of Police Commissioners choose for the department's body cameras? I've got that story coming up.
The city of St. Louis develops a comprehensive transportation plan. All the details from one of its authors just ahead.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire. Cloud, sun, and humid today. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm this afternoon. Watch for flash flooding and downpours. High 87.
Baseball is back in action. The All-Star break is over, and the big news around Busch Stadium will be bananas. Details on the way.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump's giving up some ground to both Democrats and Republicans, calling for release of files related to the late convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. He's directed the Attorney General to ask a judge to release a portion of grand jury testimony in the case. CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
There has to be a formal request that's made to a judge. The judge is going to take that under consideration, and all of this takes time. This is not a waving of a wand, snapping of fingers. The president says, let's release pertinent information, and then we all see that before we go to bed. It's not going to work that way.
Mr. Trump threatening to sue the Wall Street Journal for reporting he sent a bawdy birthday letter to Epstein for his 50th birthday 20 years ago. The House has given final approval for $9 billion worth of cuts to foreign aid and public broadcasting.
The vote was 216 to 213. Congress beat today's deadline to get the bill to President Trump's desk. House Speaker Mike Johnson.
Everybody that works on our side has promised fiscal responsibility and fiscal discipline, and we're delivering on those promises again tonight.
Democrats like Melanie Stansbury of New Mexico say the cuts are dangerous.
It will make America less safe. It will undermine our national security, and it will threaten lives across the world and kill children.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The Trump administration is ramping up an effort to track down undocumented immigrants with a plan to check the personal data of millions of Medicaid recipients. CBS's Camila Montoya Galvez.
The consensus among public health experts and advocates is that this will deter immigrants in the U.S. legally and illegally from accessing critical care that they need, including emergency care.
A shocker on The Late Show. Stephen Colbert's announced the most watched of the late night talkers is ending in May. Correspondent Jared Hill.
After his appearance on last night's show, Senator Adam Schiff questioned the move. Quote, if Paramount and CBS ended The Late Show for political reasons, the public deserves to know. In a statement, CBS praised Colbert, calling it a purely financial decision, not related in any way to the show's performance, content, or other matters happening at Paramount.
Another relief for travelers. Homeland Security Chief Kristi Noem hinted the TSA may be ending restrictions on bringing liquids onto planes. CBS's Chris Van Cleve.
These CT scanners that have been rolled out at airports nationwide can see through things in a bag. They are better adept at spotting explosives like liquids or inside a laptop.
The TSA is dropping a rule requiring travelers to take off their shoes at security checkpoints. Dow futures are up 29, S&P futures ahead 2. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit Progressive.com.
At 6:03, we have partly cloudy skies, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, July 18th. The news sponsored by St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. A combination of 5 teen and young adult males recovering after a shootout last night in Tower Grove South. St. Louis Police Major Janice Bachstruck told Fox 2 at the scene.
There's a lot to do and a lot of surveillance video that we have to go over and other things we have to do before we could go any further into what happened here.
The location of the shooting was Morgan Ford at Beck.
A man is dead following a Thursday night shooting in North St. Louis. Police say they were called to the area of Park and Lucille before 10. Homicide detectives were then paged to that Walnut Park West location. We'll have more as police update us.
As a federal investigation continues into the bid process for new police body-worn cameras, which provider did the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners choose at its first meeting?
I would like to make a motion that we enter into the contract for a 3-year contract with the utility.
The board went with a 3-year deal to keep their current provider, Utility, over a more expensive and expansive contract with Axon. Utility has been going week to week with the department since the previous 5-year deal expired in June, prompting the board to make a quick decision. The board's attorney, Chris Graville, also explains the department's body cam data was also at risk because Utility stores and maintains it as part of the deal. Chief Robert Tracy didn't speak at the meeting, but has been pushing for the change to Axon, whose contract would also provide tasers, other equipment, and higher-end cameras. However, the contract awarded to Axon was initially through a no-bid process, which has prompted a federal investigation. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
It appears the city of St. Louis getting serious about making transportation safer and more sensible.
There's one more chance to weigh in on the Transportation and Mobility Plan, which sets the template for how the city will approach, for instance, big road projects. There hasn't been a comprehensive plan like this since the 1940s, and at that time, wide roads for those newfangled cars were the priority. Complete Streets Program Manager Scott Ogilvie tells KMOX that now it's more about bike lanes and sidewalks.
We have really good safety data now. We know exactly which streets have the highest rates of crashes and injuries and fatalities. That's all mapped in the plan. And so in the future, I think it'll be easier to really direct resources and projects into those areas where we can make a big difference in safety.
Ogilvie tells KMOX one priority they've heard from residents is something basic, better quality streets with more predictable maintenance. The last chance to take a look at the plan and give your own feedback is Saturday, 11 a.m. at St. Alphonsus, the Rock Church. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
It appears the former St. Louis Congressman William Lacey Clay has died at the age of 94.
Longtime family friend and St. Louis attorney Daryl Piggy says William Clay Sr. passed away at his home in Silver Spring, Maryland. Before serving as the chief of staff for his son Lacey Clay, Piggy worked for Clay Sr.'s campaign when he ran for mayor of St. Louis in the late 1970s.
So I got a chance to see and hear what was going on, not so much from the campaign, but how it affected the congressional office, and just got to see the strong leader that he was. So, like I said, he set a tone for us just because he stood for principles, and the principles were stronger than anything. And that's what he taught us, that you got to stand behind what you believe in.
Clay was married to his wife Carol Ann for 71 years before she passed away earlier this year in March. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
In a statement, St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer offered condolences on behalf of the city to the family of Bill Clay. Spencer says Clay's legacy is etched in his historic legislative battles for the poor, underrepresented, and disenfranchised. She added millions have him to thank for the Family and Medical Leave Act, along with raising the minimum wage.
The Missouri State Auditor is launching an investigation of the city of Pine Lawn. Auditor Scott Fitzpatrick says in a statement he'll look into the city's financial practices, but also transparency and accountability issues. Mayor Terry Epps reacting to KMOX.
I just say to the auditors and anyone else, go with the facts. We're looking for the facts. There's, again, a lot of false accusations. Go with the facts of the findings.
Epps tells us he has told city staff to comply with any auditor requests for records. In June, Pine Lawn aldermen had to delay their meeting by 4 days because of a citizen protest over conditions in the North County community.
The Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprise Utilization Program has been suspended. The St. Louis Development Corporation runs the local certification program, but they have paused the program because of the Trump administration targeting diversity programs. According to the Business Journal, the city is working to accommodate changes in the federal landscape and ask developers and contractors to contact them about how it might impact ongoing projects.
Meanwhile, the principals at Lux Living, who've been targeted by the city for problem properties downtown, were indicted by the feds for defrauding that program to get tax breaks. One of the men argued that the city program is unconstitutional under the Equal Protection Clause. Their new Soho apartment complex in Soulard was put on the market recently as they face those federal charges.
We'll get a check of traffic and weather in 2 minutes. It's 6:08.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-885-9700. 800-885-9700. That's 800-885-9700.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:11 and time for us to get you caught up on traffic and weather. It is a very humid morning, but today is going to be the cool day of this 5-day forecast. So we'll give you more details on that in just a moment. But first, here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's a nice run out there right now, Debbie. Friday mornings are pretty quiet and on the go, and I don't see any issues right now. In fact, it even looks a little better now than it did 10 minutes ago. Northbound 67 at Double C. Normally there's a little more of a slowdown running through there, but right now it doesn't look terrible. Once you get on North 55 through the McNutt Work Zone and up north of River de Pere, everything's fine. Of course, they were flooded overnight in that area. North of River de Pere with those downpours, but obviously the storm drains got cleared and everything's good to go for you this morning. 270 in the work zone at Ladue, things look fine. 5570, more of an issue in the afternoons actually, but of course it's still closed westbound between 159 and 157, but the detour west 270 is south 255 still looks to be in good shape. Next update at 620 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, cloud, sun, and humid for today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm this afternoon, mostly south of the city. Watch for flash flooding with any downpours, high 87. After an evening thunderstorm, it'll be rather cloudy and rather humid with a low of 75 tonight. Clouds and sun, hot and humid tomorrow. A heavy gusty thunderstorm is mostly going to be around during the midday hours, high 92. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Looks like we have cloudy skies this morning, 74 in Florida State, 72 in St. Peters, and 73 downtown at the Arch. The weather sponsored by Fairmount Park Casino and Racing. Sign up for a Fairmount Park Casino and Racing players card in the casino today. Win up to $100,000. Get access to comps, free slot play, gift giveaways, and promotional offers. This offer won't last long. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The Cardinals signed their first-round pick for $7.25 million. I'll tell you why that might actually be a good deal. Straight ahead in sports.
St. Louis County has been giving out free Narcan at clinics and library branches to combat opioid overdoses. Now vending machines with the life-saving drug are going up. Jenny Armbruster with Prevent Ed says it's good to have on hand.
The beauty of it is it's so easy to administer. It is a nasal pump that doesn't need to be primed. You don't need to test it. You just open the package, put it in the person's nostril, and press the plunger to administer the medication.
And Armbruster says the only thing it responds to is an opioid overdose. There are no side effects, so people don't need to be sure someone is ODing before administering the drug. Armbruster was a guest with Chris and Amy.
Lots of talk about a condition called chronic venous insufficiency now that the White House has disclosed President Trump has been diagnosed with it. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer reports.
Chronic venous insufficiency is a diagnosis common in people over the age of 70. It's a condition in which the legs have trouble delivering blood back to the heart. CBS News chief medical correspondent Dr. John LaPook on the treatments.
The mainstay is elevation of the legs,
to help the blood return to the heart. And also you can have compression stockings that go from the knee down 20 to 30 millimeters, and that helps sort of push the blood back into the veins, and then they can go up the leg and back to the heart.
The White House says the president's doctors have ruled out any heart or kidney problems as the cause, as well as any blood clots in the veins. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
The Illinois candidates for U.S. Senate are talking about health care impacts from the big bill that just passed Congress. Projections show some rural hospitals could close because of Medicaid cuts that will begin next year. Raja Krishnamurthy says it's important to let people in Illinois know how these cuts will affect them.
Because if, God forbid, one of these hospitals in these areas in the rural parts of Illinois are closed, then everyone, regardless of how their health care is paid for, would be affected negatively.
Robin Kelley says if rural hospitals close, telehealth will become more essential. Juliana Stratton, meanwhile, held a news conference to discuss the Pritzker administration's response to cuts to the food stamp program.
The Black Cat Coffee Project has their quarterly pop-up tomorrow in Cottleville. They're a nonprofit started by a motivated group of young people with disabilities who were sitting around Tracy Bono's kitchen table talking one day a few years ago.
And they were drawing pictures, and they're all cat lovers, so they were calling it the Black Cat Cafe and talking about their dream. And so I encouraged them. I said, well, do it. What's stopping you? Have your own pop-up. And with the parents' support at the time, we had the first pop-up in my home.
The community embraced the idea, and they quickly outgrew her home, and now the pop-ups are hosted all over the St. Charles area. Tomorrow's pop-up starts at 10. We have the address on KMOX.com along with details about their October pop-up.
This sports update is sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Cardinals resume their regular season later tonight as they open a 6-game trip at Arizona. It's the start of a 3-game series with the Diamondbacks. Cardinals have announced their rotation for the series and will open with Andre Pallante tonight in Arizona. Pallante 5-5 with a 4.49 ERA and 18 starts this year. He's just 1-2 with a 4.89 ERA in his last 7 starts, but has walked 9 while striking out 22 in that time. Pallante has never started against the Diamondbacks, though he's made 7 relief appearances. He's 1-0 with a 4.15 ERA there. He made 2 scoreless appearances last year against the Diamondbacks. Cards will send Sonny Gray to the mound for tomorrow night's game, and Miles Michaelis is scheduled to take the Sunday finale at Arizona. The Diamondbacks, have not announced their rotation for the weekend series. First pitch tonight is 8:40. Ameren Total Access gets underway at 7:45. Well, the Cards have signed their first-round draft pick, Liam Doyle, for a franchise record $7.25 million. Sam Dykstra of MLB Pipeline joined the Gray Bar Sports Open Line last night and explained why that's a good deal for the Redbirds.
Yeah, so for rounds 1 through 10, each pick is assigned a certain slot bonus. So in Liam Doyle's case, it was around $8.13 million. He signs for 7.25. You add up all those totals and you get what is called your bonus pool. So the Cardinals had a bonus pool that was $14.2 million. That's how much you have to spend on all of your draft picks. Now, picks 11 through 20, in rounds 11 through 20, I should say, have a cap of $150,000. So you can sign anybody in those rounds for $150,000. Doesn't count towards your pool. If you go above that, then you're starting to eat into your pool a little bit. So that $880,000 that you're talking about is savings that they can spread around to the rest of their class. Now, they went pretty college heavy, but when you take Ryan Mitchell in the second round, a outfielder out of a Tennessee high school, he has some leverage. He could go to school. And now that's $900,000 you could use to go above his bonus slot, which is $1.72 million, talk him out of going to school and signing with St. Louis. And when you get guys to take a haircut, you get more good players. It makes your class better. It makes your farm system better.
Next sports update, that is, comes up at 6:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Calling all soccer fans, the Premier League is coming to STL. St. Louis City SC will host English Premier League giants Aston Villa Football Club, Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. Wednesday, July 30th at 7:30 p.m. That's stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
All right, let's get you caught up on your ride in. It's time for traffic and weather. 6:20. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Megan Lynch and Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, nobody's complaining about anything out there so far yet this morning, Debbie. Stalled northbound 270 at the exit to Doherty Ferry. Looks like it's over to the shoulder, so that's no big deal. They cleared a stall just recently near Manchester on northbound 270, but again, not enough volume to really slow you down out there on any of these area highways. Standing water from last night's downpours should be drained off the roadways. I don't see any delays. Haven't had any reports of anything on the major roadways. Just a little slowdown northbound 67 at Double C, but the work zone's 55 at McNutt and north of Payless. Everything looks fine for you there. 270 at Ladue. We're still looking good out Wentzville Way, southbound 61, down onto eastbound 64 or 70 coming out of St. Charles County. Don't forget, this is the first of 3 weekends they'll have restrictions eastbound on the Blanchette Bridge all weekend long, 9 tonight till 5 Monday morning. Of course, it's weather permitting, but they're scheduled to have the 2 right lanes closed this weekend. Like I said, for the next 3 weekends, there'll be restrictions eastbound only, 70 coming out of St. Charles County. Downtown, we look good westbound across those bridges. Popular Amusement Veterans Bridge, no delays there so far. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And we're going to have some sun, some clouds. It's going to be humid again today, and showers and thunderstorms are possible this afternoon, especially south of the city. We could get some flash flooding with any storms we get today. Expect a high of 87 degrees. Still humid tonight with an evening thunderstorm in spots, a low 75. And then tomorrow, clouds and sun mixed again, hot and humid. Thunderstorms possible, a high of 92. Currently, we have cloudy skies, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Where are people's manners? I know a lot of us think that at certain times. Well, how rude. The changing forms of polite behavior is a talk that is coming up at the Missouri Historical Society's Library and Research Center this Saturday morning. Emily Jaycox is an MHS librarian, and this really captured my attention, Emily, because people say that all the time, right? People are so rude. Where are people's manners?
That's right. This topic got on my radar because in our library collections, we have a whole bunch of old etiquette books from past times about what was mannerly. And I always thought this was kind of cool. And I started flipping through them and thought, some of this stuff sounds like what we would consider mannerly today. And others of this stuff is like so different. So I thought that would make a neat talk.
When you're looking through all the archives of etiquette and stuff, does it seem like maybe things are changing more rapidly now? I feel like I'm still of the generation where I like to send thank you notes, an actual note. And I really tried to teach my children that, you know, they're older, they're Gen Z, I guess. My daughter sometimes does, but they're like okay with a text, you know, but my mother, their grandmother, a text is rude.
Yeah, I think that that's something that's changed a whole lot in the past couple of generations. There are still people who remember the written thank you note as the standard, and other people who say, as long as they know you thought of them and thank them for the gift, does it have to be on paper? Let's, send a text. Let's save the environment. There's a lot of different ways of approaching good manners. It's not all one thing.
Sure. And invitations are another thing, because I think younger generations don't RSVP the way way some of us older folks would like them to.
Yeah, and if you're trying to get a sense of like how many chairs or how much food to make or something, that the host is always interested in knowing how many people are coming, but some people just let things roll. And I think electronic invitations have made that a lot more up to the last minute.
What have you seen as far as changes of we're so casual now, the way we dress, the way we pretty much do everything. When you look at 70, 80 years ago, when everyone dressed up for everything, gloves, hats, and, hose.
I have some things about hats and gloves in the talk. And in some cases, it was fairly universal. I think when fewer people had their own cars, people, even fairly wealthy people, were going to be spending more time like out on the street, unprotected by the weather. So things like hats and gloves served a very practical purpose. But then there were ways to express yourself, make a fashion statement through your hats and gloves that could also, if there were people who wanted to figure out how to set themselves apart from others as like more genteel, more elegant, more whatever, they could use hats and gloves and other habits and manners to signal that to other people.
That's interesting because most women no longer wear hats, hardly ever, but a lot of men still do, except they're baseball hats and they never take them off.
That's right. That's been a really interesting change in more recent years. And I think a lot of historians think that one of the big landmarks there was when John F. Kennedy was elected president. At the time, it was just when men went outdoors, they wore a hat. When they went inside, they took it off. And he wasn't in the custom of wearing a hat. And a lot of men took that as the opportunity to just give it up. And then things started to evolve, as you say, with the ball cap. That's just been a whole different way of approaching a hat.
Right. And when did it become okay to no longer take your hat off inside?
I'm not really sure. And I think manners don't always change at the same pace in every place and in every group of people. But I can certainly remember times where if a man wore his hat indoors, he would get funny looks.
Mm-hmm.
And now that isn't happening.
No. Sometimes you don't recognize a coworker because they're not wearing a baseball hat. You're like, who are you? Oh, yes.
Right. Another thing that there used to be hat checks. Like if you went to a public place,
Right.
you went to the theater or restaurant, there would be someone to take all the hats that all the men's were wearing because they weren't supposed to wear them inside. And now that's kind of disappeared. Manners can be used to help make everyone feel like they know what's going on and are equally comfortable in a situation, but they can also be used to sort of intimidate or as put downs. And table manners, if you're a wealthy person and you can afford 5 kinds of forks and 3 kinds of spoons, and in your table setting, and someone who doesn't have access to that stuff is a guest in their house, they're going to be very overwhelmed.
Emily Jaycox is an MHS librarian. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
My son had a teacher this last year that made the boys take their hats off.
Really?
When they came into class or they got a referral to the office.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. He thought that was important that they take their hats off in class.
And they all went, what? What are you talking about?
I know. They all complied, though. So, it is 6:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hi, it's Margaret from Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Life is change. An election, an illness, a death. And questions. What about my family? My retirement? My estate? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano stand ready to help you plan for your life changes and protect what matters to you. They have listened, planned, and executed thousands of estate plans, taxes, and legal documents for over 30 years, right here in St. Louis. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano make it easy to get started. Go to their website, yourestatematters.com, and request their free webinar. It focuses on simple legal strategies and their process. Then schedule your free personal consultation. Life is change. Plan now. Your estate matters because you matter. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestatematters.com. Choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on advertising.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at hims.com/joy. And from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Hospital Sisters Health System isn't just in your community. We're your neighbors, your friends, your support system. From your first visit, you'll experience expert care backed by the strength of our entire health network. At HSHS, we put your health first, with medical expertise and kindness that makes you feel valued at every step. HSHS, connected to our community, committed to your health. Visit hshs.org/caring to learn more.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040.
It is 6:30, and this is Total Information AM. We've got
partly cloudy skies. And right now,
we're talking about 74 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. Let's get a check of the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, just got word of a crash. They're sending EMS crews over in Metro East in the Edwardsville area, 143. It looks like it's westbound at Bender Road. There's a delay in the area there, so it looks like it's a crash blocking involving a semi. If you're traveling westbound on 143 there near Bender Road, that's on the east side of 255. Watch for restrictions, and emergency crews are on the way. More volume out there? Maybe, but not enough to slow you down. 55 still looks good through McNutt, still looks good north of Bayless. North 270 from 55 up through 44 is on the go. Looks great both directions at Ladue Road in that work zone. Southbound 61 down onto 64 or 70 eastbound coming out of St. Charles County, you're fine. And downtown westbound still clear sailing across the Poplar and the Musial Veterans Bridges. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be hot and sticky as we head into this new week. Today will be the cool day of this 5-day forecast with a high of 87 degrees. It is going to be a mix of sun and clouds, humid today, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm this afternoon. We could see some flash flooding with any downpours. Again, 87 today, tomorrow 92, and starting tomorrow and then through Tuesday, real field temperatures will feel as hot as 105. We could see a gusty, heavy thunderstorm around tomorrow. Right now, it's cloudy and 73 downtown.
It's 6:31. Former Democrat St. Louis Congressman William Clay Sr. has died. He passed away at his home in Silver Spring, Maryland, Thursday morning. He was a member of the U.S. House from 1969 to 2001.
KMOX political analyst Michael Kelley says he once got to see Bill Clay in action in Congress. He recalls a heated argument.
I went to Washington, D.C. with him, or to meet him with my father, who was the president of the AFL-CIO at the time. And they were in a heated political argument. And when they were finished, as a young man, I was a bit scared because they were, red-faced and yelling at each other. And when it ended, Congressman Clay got up and said, "Bob, you're my friend. We disagree on this one." And then he proceeded to hand me a book called Only Permanent Interests. And it's something that I still give to people today.
Bradford pear trees look nice, but they smell, and they're an invasive menace. They'll soon be illegal to sell in Missouri. Dan Weinbaum has more.
Each spring, Bradford or Kelley pear trees create lovely blooms, but emit quite the stench. Conservation experts say even though it's been planted in neighborhoods far and wide, Bradford pear trees are an invasive species, one that overwhelms and crowds out native plants in the wild. And now they are essentially illegal to sell in Missouri. Well, soon, plant and tree nurseries will be prohibited from knowingly selling them under a new law signed by the Missouri governor this week. The Bradfords and a handful of other fast-spreading invasive plants: burning bush, climbing euonymus, Japanese honeysuckle, Serratia lespedeza, and perilla mint, which is toxic to cattle. The prohibitions don't happen all at once. The hard-to-name plants are barred at the start of 2027, the Bradfords and burning bush in 2029. Nursery owners will have to promise not to sell them as a condition of their certification.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com will get you your money report from Bloomberg coming up after the break. It is 6:34.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
6:35 here at 104.1 FM KMOX. It's time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Kimberly Adams.
Good morning. One of the largest railroad deals could be coming down the pike. Union Pacific is said to be exploring an acquisition of Norfolk Southern. The deal would merge the number 1 and number 5 North American railroads by revenue. The companies have a combined market value of almost $200 billion. And sources tell Bloomberg the talks are at an early stage. The next time you're in Target, don't expect a price match on the items you're buying from its competitors as the big box retailer looks to simplify its pricing strategy. Target is ending that long-standing program. Instead, the company will match prices in-house if there is a price discrepancy between an item's cost online versus in stores. The Food and Drug Administration has authorized Juul Labs to continue selling its e-cigarettes in the U.S. After a review, the FDA is allowing Juul to sell its devices along with tobacco and menthol-flavored refill cartridges. Sweet and fruity flavors will remain off market. Juul's growth was set back by accusations that it was targeting underage users. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics. At California Psychics, we know that sometimes you can wake up thinking,
I don't know if I'm in the right career. Or the right relationship.
But whatever your life dilemma, at California Psychics, we'll give you the guidance you need to feel certain about your life choices. And because we only connect you with the very best, we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com. Viking.com.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gas House Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM KMOX.
More news now at 6:38. The Steve Miller Band has canceled its U.S. tour, citing extreme weather as a safety concern for fans and crew. The tour was scheduled to begin next month. Severe heat and unpredictable flooding have disrupted a number of music events this year. Scientists say climate change is fueling extreme weather events, which is making outdoor summer events increasingly difficult to plan safely.
Last chance to claim memorabilia from a popular British drama series.
Downton Abbey fans will be able to bid on props and costumes at a farewell auction in London next month. The bottom sale is a lead-up to September's release of the third and final film based on the TV show Downton the Finale. Among items going up for sale, the famous bell wall called Servants to Duty, a wedding dress Lady Mary Crawley wore in the first episode, and the clapperboard used on the movie set for Downton A New Era. Bottoms estimates prices from about $800 to $10,000. The public will be able to view some of the items before online bidding begins August 18th. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Bonhams predicts sale prices from about $800 to $10,000 for items. I'm always interested in these things, but I always wonder, what do people do with this stuff?
I suppose they just display them. I mean, I guess if you just so loved, being immersed in that world, how fun to have something that you could actually touch.
I guess.
From that, and but I don't know, have a connection to it, maybe is why people do it.
I'm not a collector, so I don't get it, because I just think $10,000. What? Oh, okay. Well, I guess if I had all the money in the world, I might do it. Downton Abbey, there's a movie about it coming out, so apparently it is the finale, the end of Downton Abbey. It is 6:40, and it's time for us to get you a check of the roadways. So let's see if you and the carriage will be stuck somewhere in traffic on your way in. Roger Brand has the latest from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No, the carriage could be stuck in mud someplace, I guess. But if you get it onto a real paved road, I think you're in good shape right now, Debbie. This traffic report's the service of Financial and Tax Strategies. The only place I'm seeing a little bit of a slowdown now. There's a little volume north 270 as you come up the hill from Doherty Ferry toward Manchester. A little slower headed through there, but it looks good coming off 55. 55 itself looks good. McNutt north of Bayless, 70 and 64 coming off southbound 61. Take your pick onto those routes. Across the river bridges are fine. Don't forget, this weekend we're going to have our first of 3 weekends. Of course, it's weather permitting. First of 3 weekends, though, where we have the restrictions on the Blanchette Bridge all weekend long from like 9 tonight till 5 Monday morning. The 2 right lanes are scheduled to be closed. Only trouble we have in Metro East is that injury crash reported at 143 and Bender Road. Next update at 6:50 for the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's never too early to start thinking about your retirement journey, and it's never too late either. You just need to know that the steps may look a little different. Listen to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
Let's get a check of the forecast now. We're not going to get much relief from the humidity. We check in now with AccuWeather's Heather Zayer.
And right now, it definitely is humid. We're also pretty well socked in with clouds, even a bit of fog out there that can slow you down. But overall, we are going to see some sun return during the day. And the best chance for some showers and a thunderstorm this afternoon is going to be south of the city. Where those storms do occur, there can be downpours with flash flooding. So that's definitely something to keep in mind for this afternoon. All those thunderstorms then will diminish during the evening hours. 87 will be our high for today. Still very humid with clouds and a low of 75 tonight. And then another hot and humid day tomorrow. We'll have intervals of clouds and sunshine with a high of 92 degrees. There can also be a heavy gusty thunderstorm around, likely during the midday hours. Thunderstorm chances are going down then as we head into Sunday. Still a chance, but will be partly sunny, hot, and humid with a high of 94. And the heat and the humidity not only stay with us for Monday and Tuesday, they'll even build a little bit. We can't rule out a thunderstorm either day, though much of the days will be dry. We'll top out at 95 Monday and 98 on Tuesday. Right now it's 73 in St. Peters and in Florissant and 75 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
I'm Joe Pott. We are, believe it or not, coming up on football season, and we'll hear from the Mizzou Tigers head coach, Eli Drinkwitz, straight ahead in sports.
It is 6:43, and the first meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners, St. Louis Mayor Kara Spencer voiced her preference that the department remain under local control. However, she says she still participated in the meeting and voted in favor of rules, leadership appointments, and resolutions. Spencer was asked why she and the city have yet to file a lawsuit against the takeover. She responded by saying it's still a possibility.
Right now, what the intention here is to be part of the process, and to continue to see how this evolves.
Spencer said she has no timeline to file a lawsuit.
The Missouri Attorney General wants to shut down the nation's largest clean energy project, but the Missouri Public Service Commission says it cannot revoke its approval of the project, and the lead counsel for the Grain Belt Express says Bailey has no authority to interfere. The Attorney General says the Grain Belt Express, which is expected to bring clean energy to 29 states, including Missouri, has a history of lies and false promises. He's also demanding documents related to economic claims.
St. Louis County Department of Public Health confirming this season's first mosquito samples testing positive for West Nile virus.
The mosquitoes were collected from sites in both North and West County. St. Louis County Health Director Dr. Kanika Cunningham says this is an early warning sign and should remind residents that mosquito prevention is crucial during the summer months. West Nile virus can cause severe illness and even death in vulnerable people. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Illinois State Controller Susana Mendoza is not running for re-election. Mendoza widely viewed as a potential candidate for Chicago mayor in 2027. While she hasn't committed to a run, she is, quote, leaving the door open.
Consumers are still facing rising prices. Chuck Gascon, senior economist in the research division at the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, tells KMOX some manufacturers are trying to absorb costs, but he points out for some items that is getting harder to contain.
Grocery store price pressures are starting to pick up a little bit. Food pressures picked up in the last CPI report. And so we were seeing some reports of that. Consumer packaged goods companies were reporting that they had increasing their prices, and that's expected to work its way through in the grocery store channel in the next 90 days.
Gascon says used car prices have increased in recent weeks. He adds insurance premiums are also going up at a fast clip.
A 29-year-old man from Wisconsin charged with multiple felonies after allegedly forcing his wife into a game of Russian roulette.
Archie Bonilla Santiago, according to police, was drunk. He's alleged to have put one bullet in a gun and pointed it at his wife, pulling the trigger 3 times, and then forced her to do the same. She ran to this neighbor's apartment.
She's like, that's crazy. Like, I'm scared. Like, he's crazy. It felt like a movie, literally.
CBS 58 Milwaukee reports the two had met online and recently got married. The woman, who's from Australia, was leaving him going back home.
Who's Hot? Sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Order online for delivery or pick up premium soil, compost, and mulch at any of our 9 locations. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories. As the Cards get set to resume the baseball season, they do so with an offense that is just outside of the top 10 in terms of batting average. They're 13 in on-base percentage and 18th in terms of slugging. STL Today columnist Benjamin Hockman joined the Gray Bar Sports Open line last night and talked about what he'd like to see from that Cards offense in the second half.
I would like to see Mason win and Victor Scott get on base more. I mean, who wouldn't? They need to hit more consistently, and by doing that, of course, a lot of times, especially with Victor Scott, his singles turn into doubles, if you will, because he steals bases at such a high clip. So getting those guys on base more would be key. And gosh, I mean, the bullpen, some of the guys looked a little shaky towards the end there, but you know, they'll get some break. They're on a break right now. They'll get some rest, and hopefully they bounce back. But and then the other thing is really just, are the Cardinals going to get home runs from anybody? I mean, I think 12 is the team lead right now. This is not a slugging team. Will someone maybe emerge? Will Wilson perhaps hit more of them in the second half? That's a question to ask. And if not, can they still single you to death, if you will, the way they've done in previous games?
To college football, SEC Football Media Days taking place this week in Atlanta. Mizzou head coach Eli Drinkowitz was asked about the quarterback battle in Columbia.
Obviously, Sam Horn's a guy who's been in our system for a long time, dual threat player, obviously plays baseball at a high level, is coming back from Tommy John surgery. I thought he had an outstanding bowl prep as he was rehabbing that, and really a really good spring, and has really excelled in his maturation. One thing most people don't know about Sam, he's a type 1 diabetic. And so he's been able to, since he's been in college, been able to learn to adapt and train and develop and adjust. And he's really done a lot of good things, understands the system. Bo came in with the right mindset, nothing given, everything earned. works extremely hard developing his craft. He's a guy who spends a lot of extra time up there, has a chip on his shoulder, the right kind of chip, does a really good job leadership-wise. He was a guy that I got to work with a couple of days at Harmon's, and I'm just impressed with his ability to connect with our team. Matt Zollers, he throws it as well as any quarterback I've ever seen. Is coming back from an ankle surgery. You can tell he's adjusting to the speed of college football, but very excited about that room, and know whoever ends up emerging as the quarterback is going to be in a really good position, because he doesn't have to do it all by himself.
That audio courtesy of Missouri Tigers on SI. Next sports update is 7:15. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
This is Tom Ackerman. Whether you're looking for bulk compost or just a few bags, St. Louis Composting provides an extensive selection of compost, soil blends, and mulches. Visit one of their 9 facilities in St. Louis, or you can order online for convenient delivery to your home or job site. There are 9 area locations at stlcompost.com. Again, that site is stlcompost.com. At St. Louis Composting, they like to say, growing gardens, making memories. Enjoy your outdoor space this spring with vegetable gardens and fresh landscaping. With St. Louis Composting, they transform organic yard waste, branches, leaves, grass clippings, and more into premium compost through a 6-month static composting process. They are the largest and most trusted compost provider in the St. Louis area. They are St. Louis Composting. Online at stlcompost.com. That's stlcompost.com.
The Trudy Bush Valentine School of Nursing at St. Louis University is seeking to fill the position of Simulation Operations Director. This is a non-tenured teaching position and is responsible for designing and implementing simulation teaching curriculum for nursing students and to maintain the nursing school simulations lab. Requirements: master's degree in nursing, 5 years nursing experience, of which 3 years should include simulation experience, strong teaching and clinical skills, and licensure or eligibility for licensure in Missouri. Email resume with CV to helen.lash@slu.edu. That's helen.lash@slu.edu.
Soccer fans, St. Louis City SC hosts English Premier League giants, the Aston Villa Football Club, Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
Happy Friday, folks. And usually the morning drive is easier on Fridays. Let's hope that's the case. Let's check the roadways with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it certainly is right now, Debbie. We don't have any issues on the interstates, at least. Things look great even in the construction zones. We continue to cruise along. 55 through McNutt and north of Bayless looks good. 270 both ways around Ladue, no trouble there. We do have trouble on the Illinois side on the secondaries on 143 at Bender Road. We have a crash involving a semi with injuries. Traffic backed up in both directions there. On the east side of 255, 143 again at Bender. So restrictions and delays in place there until they can get that crash wrapped up. Doesn't look bad in the where the construction restrictions are on the Illinois side either. Of course, westbound 5570 remains closed between 159 and 157 through the end of the month. So the interstate detour is 270 west to 255 south. Right now, that's wide open. Afternoons, we've had some pretty good backups there, but the mornings haven't been bad. And then once you get past that point downtown, we're still good to go westbound across the Poplar and Muswell Veterans Bridges. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Cloudy, some sun popping in, and humid today. We've got showers and thunderstorms in the forecast, a high 87 degrees, an evening thunderstorm as well. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and humid, a low of 75. And then tomorrow, a mix of clouds and sun again, hot and humid. Some thunderstorms possible mainly during the midday hours with a high of 92. Right now, we have a little sunshine, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch.
6:52 and the news continues. A man is dead following a Thursday night shooting in North St. Louis. Police say they were called to the area of Park and Lucille before 10. Homicide detectives were then paged to the Walnut Park West location. We'll have more as police update us.
Pine Lawn Mayor Terry Epps is not concerned about a state audit of his North County community.
I think we do a great job of servicing the cities.
But a final determination on that will be up to the Missouri State Auditor. Scott Fitzpatrick says he's especially interested in, as he puts it, why Pine Lawn seems to struggle with fundamental concepts like transparency and accountability. KMOX's Michael Calhoun asked Mayor Epps if the city will cooperate with any records requests.
Do you expect the city will, comply with all of those, whatever the auditor asks for? Have you kind of given out the instruction even to staff, give the auditor what he asks for?
Yes, we'll comply fully, 100%.
Hopefully this weekend at Lake of the Ozarks will be calmer than last weekend, which saw a wild high-speed boat chase. We get the details from Dan Weinbaum.
This went down at the Lake of the Ozarks on Saturday evening. Davy Hollow Cove is where it started. The Missouri Highway Patrol says a man was seen throwing a woman off a boat. And when the Water Patrol found him, they say he took off, gunning the boat across the water, and the high-speed chase was on. He eventually pulled in, docked, and ran off on foot. But they found him. Lauren Peters, identified as a Kansas City man, arrested. They say his speech was slurred, and they found an open container near the wheel. Peters charged with felony aggravated fleeing, a BWI, not having operating navigation lights, and a count of operating a motorboat in a careless or imprudent manner.
On this vote, the yeas are 216. The nays are 213. The resolution is adopted.
In a late night session Thursday, the House of Representatives approved President Trump's request to claw back $9 billion in previously approved foreign aid and public broadcast funding. The vote was 216 to 213, with two Republicans, Mike Turner and Brian Fitzpatrick, joining all Democrats in voting no.
An undercover couple gets busted on the kiss cam.
Oh, look at these two. Chris Martin called out the canoodling co-workers as he followed live kiss cam shots of the audience on the Jumbotron screen at a Coldplay concert near Boston.
Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
As he spoke, they wiggled out of an embrace and ducked out of sight separately. Little did Martin know he was unmasking Andy Byron, the CEO of the firm Astronomer, and the woman who hired him there, Kristen Cabot. They're married, but not to each other. Byron's wife has scrubbed her social media. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday. Happy birthday.
And today's KMOX birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Celebrity birthdays for this Friday, July 18th include singer Dion, 86 years old today. Actor James Brolin is 85 and actor Vin Diesel, 58.
Local celebrity birthdays include Barbara Bates from the Life Group, also Barbara Murray of O'Fallon, Illinois, Chris Robbins from Your Friends. Happy 28th, Rachel Adams from Grandma and Grandpa Adams, Brian Murphy, Joe Bomarito, Brian Etling, Vicky Comiskey from all your fans of the Gustine Market. And we've got a lot of birthdays here around KMOX, including Dave Simons, Ellen Reichert, and Steve Moore.
This is the best birthday ever.
All right, I've been telling you for years now about Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, and for good reason, because she has eager buyers in waiting. She has upfront written guarantees. She is the one you should call. But here's something you may not know. If you are selling your home and you're also looking to buy, Gloria has featured listings and open houses this weekend all over the area in your price range, and includes some amazing luxury properties that you won't find anywhere else. Gloria Liu has guaranteed sale programs to help making buying and selling a home easy. And Gloria invites you to reach out to her directly, whether you are buying or selling, or if you want to see any of these amazing homes with a private showing or at an open house. It is very easy. Just visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com and click on featured listings, or simply call Gloria at 314-325-6888. 314-325-6888. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. As always, Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
It doesn't take a lot to make a big difference.
That's why we've teamed up with Jerry Kelley Heating and Cooling to bring you 100 acts of kindness.
For the next 6 months, the Chris and Amy Show is challenging you to spread kindness in simple, meaningful ways. No big budget needed.
Write a thank you note, help a neighbor, surprise someone with a smile. It all counts.
Let's prove that kindness is contagious. Share your acts with us by using hashtag 100KindActs.
Because a little kindness goes a long way.
Hi, I'm Andrew Suntrup. For over 30 years, St. Louis families have trusted Suntrup Ford Westport and Suntrup Ford Kirkwood as a proud, family-owned and operated dealership. We offer more than just great deals. We offer peace of mind. At Suntrup Ford, you'll find a huge selection of inventory to choose from, unmatched customer service, and our exclusive lifetime powertrain protection program. Visit in store or online at suntrupford.com. Save more at Suntrup Ford. Visit suntrupford.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising.
It is 6:59. Let's get a check of the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the only place we have issues right now, Megan, is 143 at Bender Road, east of 255. A crash involving a semi with injuries, jammed both directions on 143. You may want to avoid that area. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Friday, July 18th. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Sean Malone. The first major action from the St. Louis City Board of Police Commissioners, choosing which contractor to go with for police body cameras. I've got that story coming up.
I'm Megan Lynch. A comprehensive transportation plan being developed in the city of St. Louis. Our Michael Calhoun spoke with one of the creators.
This is KMOX Health Editor Fred Bonimer. What exactly is chronic venous insufficiency? Coming up, we'll have all the details on President Trump's newly disclosed medical condition.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer. We'll have a couple of showers and a thunderstorm around this afternoon, mostly to the south of the city, and there can be flash flooding and any downpours, high 87.
Baseball is back. We get the latest in sports at 7:15.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump is answering both Democratic and Republican calls for release of the Jeffrey Epstein files with an order to the Attorney General to ask a judge to release a portion of grand jury testimony in the late convicted sex offenders trial. Legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
It certainly does seem to me that when you say pertinent testimony, that has a different meaning than saying all testimony. And the word pertinent does allow for a good deal of discretion here.
The president is denying a related claim. Correspondent Scott McFarland.
Now, a Wall Street Journal report alleges he wrote Epstein a birthday note in 2003, included in a collection of letters, with a hand-drawn sketch appearing to be the outline of a naked woman and a message that said, "Happy birthday. May every day be another wonderful secret." Trump, who has slammed those calling for the Epstein files to be released.
No, it's I call it the Epstein hoax.
Responded to the report Thursday, calling it a fake story, and said, "These are not my words, not the way I talk."
Republicans in the House have gifted the president billions of dollars worth of cuts in foreign aid and funding to public broadcasting. House Speaker Mike Johnson, after a midnight vote.
The first of what we believe will be multiple rescissions packages. That's our plan. I'm delighted to send that over to the president's desk for signature, and he'll sign that quickly. We clawed back $9 billion in taxpayer funds and wasteful spending.
The White House says Mr. Trump's been diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency. That's a condition common in people over the age of 70. Chief medical correspondent Dr. John LaPook.
They report that they've ruled out the more serious causes, at least the most common ones. There are some rare causes that they didn't talk about, but for now, they're saying that the president is in very good health.
After more than 30 years, the most watched late-night talk show in the nation is fading to black. Stephen Colbert made the announcement last night.
The network will be ending The Late Show in May. And I'm not being replaced. This is all just going away.
CBS says the decision is purely financial. A 61-year-old man on Long Island is in critical condition after he walked into an exam room during an MRI and got pulled into the machine by his large chain necklace. The MRI director at nearby North Shore Health, Charles Winterfelt.
It would act like a torpedo trying to get into the middle of the center of the magnet.
Officials say the man did not have permission to enter that exam room. Dow futures up 13, S&P futures ahead 1. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life.
Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
At 7:04, we have cloudy skies, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, July 18th. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. A Thursday night shootout in Tower Grove South leaves 5 males injured. St. Louis police say it happened just after 7 on Morgan Ford near Beck. Investigators tell us it involved 2 young adults and 3 in their late teens, all said to be in stable condition. Witnesses are being asked to call Crime Stoppers 866-371-TIPS.
The city of St. Louis getting serious about making transportation safer and more sensible.
There's one more chance to weigh in on the transportation and mobility plan, which sets the template for how the city will approach, for instance, big road projects. There hasn't been a comprehensive plan like this since the 1940s. And at that time, wide roads for those newfangled cars were the priority. Complete Streets program manager Scott Ogilvy tells KMOX that now it's more about bike lanes and sidewalks.
We have really good safety data now. We know exactly which streets have the highest rates of crashes and injuries and fatalities. That's all mapped in the plan. And so in the future, I think it'll be easier to really direct resources and projects into those areas where we can make a big difference in safety.
Ogilvy tells KMOX one priority they've heard from residents is something basic, better quality streets with more predictable maintenance. The last chance to take a look at the plan and give your own feedback is Saturday, 11 a.m. at St. Alphonsus, the Rock Church. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The St. Louis City Board of Police Commissioners approves a new contract regarding officer body cameras. Despite a lack of baseline knowledge into the 2 bids, they say they had no choice.
You guys are sitting here today for the first time. We're not part of the bid process.
Attorney for the police board, Chris Gravel, before the board approved a 3-year deal to stay with Utility for their body cameras instead of switching to a different company. Gravel says quick action was required from the board in their first meeting because the contract with the provider Utility expired in June. He adds they have since gone week to week, jeopardizing their body cam data, which the company stores. Gravel says this 3-year deal gives the board time to transition and settle in before making a more long-term decision. The other bid came from Axon, which was for what has been described as higher-end body cameras, new tasers, and more. Questions arose around the bid process, leading to Axon's selection, which has prompted a federal investigation. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The White House says President Trump is healthy and doing well following a diagnosis of chronic venous insufficiency. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer reports.
The president sought medical advice after noticing mild swelling in his lower legs. Chronic venous insufficiency is a diagnosis common in people over the age of 70. It's a condition in which the legs have trouble delivering blood back to the heart. CBS News chief medical correspondent Dr. John LaPook.
And before getting to that diagnosis, you have to make sure that there's not some other serious condition. And they said that they ruled out any problem with his heart, any problem with his kidneys, or any blood clots in the veins.
Elevation of the legs is part of the treatment, as could be compression socks, better diet with less salt, and more physical activity. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Could this be a solution to help the Missouri and Illinois Departments of Transportation keep the sides of highways looking fresh? In Detroit, John Hewitt reports they're using unmanned remote-controlled lawnmowers.
Call it a high-tech haircut along those grassy inclines that make up Detroit's nearly 250 miles of winding freeways with the help of a team of remote-controlled lawnmower operators. Terry Payne, director of Payne Landscaping, which contracts with the city, says his fleet of 5 RC mowers offers a distinct safety advantage.
In the past, I have guys, when we have rider motors, they are actually fell over in the freeway. This is more comfortable. You just walk behind it and you just follow the machine and just take off. You could be, say, 50 feet from it and you still can operate it.
It was 2 years ago the city took over highway maintenance from the state of Michigan, and the new RC mower fleet is being credited with helping improve the level of service provided.
It's now 7:08. We'll check the roads for you coming up in 2 minutes.
It's hot. So is it better to set my thermostat at 70, 65, 75, 80? Here's my advice to you. Set the thermostat where you're more comfortable. The difference I would spend from 75 to 80, are you ready for your savings? Now remember, this is for 3 months. In my opinion, you could save $10 to $15 a month. Or you can say, I'm still uncomfortable, so lower it, 70 degrees. So now you're spending $10 to $20 more a month for 3 months. So let's just say to 20. Let's just get crazy and think that it's going to cost you $20 more a month for your comfort. That's $60 in 3 months. Do you have an extra $60? With that being said, if your system is not cooling, then call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. God bless.
Insurance companies often have a basic strategy: delay, deny, defend. Some try to grind you down, but they have another tremendous weapon, a software called Colossus. They know which attorneys are great and which are not so great. They know who is likely to take the last offer and who will take them by their scalp, kicking and screaming to trial. They know that they have to pay some firms early and fairly. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. The insurance companies have done their homework. Before you hire a lawyer for your injury case, do yours. Visit forthepeople.com and see our settlements and verdicts for cases like yours. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason. When you hire the wrong firm, you may be beat before you start. All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's get a check of the roadways and the weather as we head into this weekend. Roger Brand is joining us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things look great out there on the highways, Debbie. It's a light Friday morning. Friday afternoons, probably another story, and especially if we have some storms this afternoon, it could be a mess. But enjoy the driving this morning. I don't see any issues on the interstates right now. Just a little slowdown right is the only spot I'm noticing something for the time being anyway. Is southbound 270 past 364, just a little slow with the merge on traffic there. North 270 looks fine. North 55 through McNutt and north of Bayless and the work zone looks fine. The IDOT says they cleared the crash. I still see delays that are not as bad. There's still some backed up traffic both ways on 143 at Bender Road. That's where he had an injury wreck. But like I said, IDOT says it's cleared, so that jam should improve downtown. Westbound, still no delays across the Poplar or Musel Veterans Bridges. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Humid with clouds and sun today. There'll be a couple of showers and a thunderstorm this afternoon, mostly to the south of the city. Watch for flash flooding with any downpours, high 87. After an evening thunderstorm, very humid with clouds and a low of 75 tonight. Then clouds and sun, hot and humid tomorrow. The best chance for a heavy gusty thunderstorm is during the midday hours, high 92. A thunderstorm or two, high 94 on Sunday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now we have cloudy skies, 74 degrees in Florissant. It's 73 in St. Peter's, 73 downtown at the Arch.
Cards back at it tonight as they open the second half of the season. I'll tell you about that upcoming series in sports.
It's 7:12. Former St. Louis Congressman William Clay Sr. passed away Thursday at the age of 94.
Longtime family friend and St. Louis attorney Daryl Piggy says William Clay Sr. passed away at his home in Silver Spring, Maryland. Before serving as the chief of staff for his son Lacey Clay, Piggy worked for Clay Sr.'s campaign when he ran for mayor of St. Louis in the late 1970s.
He stood for principles. And the principles were stronger than anything. And, that's what he taught us, that you got to stand behind what you believe in.
Clay was married to his wife, Carol Ann, for 71 years before she passed away earlier this year in March. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
KMOX political analyst Michael Kelley says Clay was a legend of St. Louis politics.
Congressman Clay had risen to the top of many committees and had become one of the more powerful folks in Washington, D.C., yet he never forgot his St. Louis roots. He led the political efforts to really integrate St. Louis Democratic politics, and as a result, created a political family and machine that lasted for quite some time.
Former Missouri Congressman Billy Long is set to be sworn in as IRS commissioner today. Long, who once advocated for abolishing the IRS, takes over that agency, struggling with staffing cuts and leadership turnover. He was confirmed by the Senate last month, despite Democratic concerns over his ties to a tax credit scheme and campaign contributions linked to his nomination by then President-elect Trump. Long, who lacks tax administration experience, has pledged to improve the agency's culture.
The Illinois candidates for U.S. Senate talking about health care impacts from the big bill that just passed Congress. Projections show some rural hospitals could close because of Medicaid cuts that will begin next year. Raja Krishnamurthy says it's important to let people in Illinois know how these cuts will affect them.
Because if, God forbid, one of these hospitals in these areas in the rural parts of Illinois are closed, then everyone, regardless of how their health care is paid for, would be affected negatively.
Robin Kelley says if rural hospitals close, telehealth will become more essential. Juliana Stratton, meantime, held an event to discuss the Pritzker administration's response to cuts to the food stamps program.
A new golf superstore is coming to St. Louis County. It's PGA Tour Superstore, which has more than 75 locations around the country. It'll open in the Manchester Highland Shopping Center, in a space formerly occupied by Bed Bath & Beyond. Another example of experiential retail, the 35,000 square foot store will include a large putting green, indoor practice bays with simulator technology and studio branded instruction, and fitting bays. It's 7:15.
Cardinals resume the regular season later tonight as they open a 6-game road trip at Arizona. It's the start of a 3-game series with the Diamondbacks. Cards have announced their rotation for the series and will open the series with Andre Pallante tonight. Pallante 5-5 with a 4.49 ERA over 18 starts so far this year. He's just 1-2 with a 4.89 ERA in his last 7 starts, but he's walked just 9 while striking out 22 in that time. Pallante has never started against the Diamondbacks, though he has made 7 relief appearances against Arizona in his career. He's 1-0 with a 4.15 ERA. He made 2 scoreless appearances last year against the Diamondbacks. Andre Pallante is our player to bank on, sponsored by Community America Credit Union, invested in you. Cardinals will send Sonny Gray to the mound for tomorrow night's game. Miles Michaelis is scheduled to take the Sunday afternoon finale in Arizona. The Diamondbacks have not announced a rotation for the weekend series. First pitch tonight is 8:40. Ameren Total Access gets underway at 7:45. Second round of the Open Championship is underway in Northern Ireland. Dan Reardon covers it.
Better than expected weather produced a good scoring day for round 1 of the 153rd Open Championship at Royal Portrush. A total of 31 players put up red numbers, with 5 players sharing the overnight lead. Former U.S. Open champion Matthew Fitzpatrick, Harris English, Christian Bezuidenhout, Hatong Lee, and Jakob Olesen posted 4 under 67s. Lee without a bogey on his card, English with 7 birdies. Scotty Scheffler headlines the quartet, a stroke back at 3 under. Masters champion Rory McIlroy got to 3 under halfway through his round on Thursday, but struggled in the back 9, finishing 1 under for the day. An improved weather forecast shows warmer temperatures, less rain, and moderating winds into the weekend. Reporting on the Open, Dan Reardon for KMOX Radio Sports.
The Cards have signed their first-round draft pick, Liam Doyle, for a franchise record $7.25 million. Sam Dykstra of MLB Pipeline joined the Graybar Sports Open line last night, explained why that's actually a good deal for the Redbirds.
Yeah, so for rounds 1 through 10, each pick is assigned a certain slot bonus. So in Liam Doyle's case, it was around $8.13 million. He signs for $7.25. You add up all those totals, and you get what is called your bonus pool. So the Cardinals had a bonus pool that was $14.2 million. That's how much you have to spend on all of your draft picks. Now, picks 11 through 20, in rounds 11 through 20, I should say, have a cap of $150,000. So you can sign anybody in those rounds for $150,000. Doesn't count towards your pool. If you go above that, then you're starting to eat into your pool a little bit. So that $880,000 that you're talking about is savings that they can spread around to the rest of their class. Now, they went pretty college heavy, but when you take Ryan Mitchell in the second round, a outfielder out of a Tennessee high school, you know, he has some leverage. He could go to school. And now that's $900,000 you could use to go above his bonus slot, which is $1.72 million, talk him out of going to school and signing with St. Louis. And when you get guys to take a haircut, you get more good players. It makes your class better. It makes your farm system better.
Next sports update comes up at 7:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Calling all soccer fans, the Premier League is coming to STL. St. Louis City SC will host English Premier League giants Aston Villa Football Club Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. Wednesday, July 30th at 7:30 p.m. That's stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. Did you know that McKelvey builds custom homes on individual sites throughout the metropolitan area? We have sites in prime locations from Rock Hill to Wildwood, including several in the coveted Ladue School District. Experience why many have chosen McKelvey Homes with our legendary quality and personalized service to build their dream home. Visit our newly completed Turnberry at 19 Beaver Drive, just north of Ladue and east of Lindbergh. It is loaded with features and now open. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling a bit uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours. Based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is 7:20. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Megan Lynch and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, in my last report, I mentioned a little bit of a delay on southbound 270 passing 364 page. It turns out there's a report of cement blocks or something like that in the left lane. They were trying to clear them just a moment ago. So that's why it's backed up just briefly. In fact, it looks better now than just a couple of minutes ago. So I think they may have already picked it up, but there is a little bit of a delay there again. Little jam, south 270 as you pass 364 page. Eastbound Highway 30. Approaching Mauer Industrial up the hill to 270, that's looking slower. Northbound 67, a little busy at Double C. Once you hit 55 through McNutt north of Baylor, so things are great for you there. Eastbound 70 and 64, hustling out of Wentzville across the Missouri River bridges, no delays downtown. We're still good to go across the Poplar and Musial Veterans bridges. And I'm still seeing some delays. IDOT said the crash cleared, but still seeing a bit of a backup both directions on 143 at Bender Road in the Edwardsville area. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And the weather sponsored by Rapid Radios. It looks like we're going to have clouds today. We may see some sun, but it's going to be humid with a chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Expect a high around 87. Evening thunderstorms possible as well. Mostly cloudy, humid, a low 75. Right now we have cloudy skies, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
The news continues at 7:22. A big announcement last night by The Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
Next year will be our last season. The network will be ending The Late Show in May. And yeah, I share your feelings. It's not just the end of our show, but it's the end of The Late Show on CBS. I'm not being replaced. This is all just going away. And I do want to say that the folks at CBS have been great partners. I'm so grateful to the Tiffany Network for giving me this chair and this beautiful theater to call home. And of course, I'm grateful to you the audience who have joined us. Every night, in here, out there, all around the world, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. I'm grateful to share the stage with this band, these artists over here every night. And I am extraordinarily, deeply grateful to the 200 people who work here. We get to do this show. We get to do this show for each other every day, all day. And I've had the pleasure and the responsibility of sharing what we do every day with you in front of this camera for the last 10 years. And let me tell you, it is a fantastic job. I wish somebody else was getting it. And it's a job that I'm looking forward to doing with this usual gang of idiots for another 10 months. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Y'all ready?
We're going to lock in.
Y'all ready?
Let's go.
Y'all ready? Okay. That's all I wanted to say. Dante, let's do the show. Jazz Cowboy, drop it on the poof.
It's the Lynch Show with Stephen Colbert.
It's 7:24. A Massachusetts federal district judge will hold a hearing today to decide if she can continue a temporary restraining order on the Trump administration's move to defund organizations that perform abortions. The organization claims it would impact women well beyond those seeking abortions. Lori Levinson is a former federal prosecutor.
As part of this big, beautiful Bill Act, there was a concerted effort to basically defund Planned Parenthood by taking away their Medicaid payments. And that would have a devastating effect on Planned Parenthood clinics across the nation.
In this reporter's notebook feature, CBS's John Dickerson ponders how conspiracy theories shape American politics.
A shadowy figure, a sudden death, powerful names. The Jeffrey Epstein investigation has the key conspiracy elements, and President Trump faces the closed logic of conspiracy. The government is hiding something, the theory goes, but if a government releases information, that only confirms they were lying before. So what else are they lying about? The U.S. government has hidden plenty: radiation tests, assassination attempts, illegal spying on U.S. citizens. People in power lie. But American culture also has a genius for manufacturing conspiracies. Political scientist Richard Hofstadter wrote in The Paranoid Style in American Politics in 1964 that conspiratorial thinking happens when people feel out of place in a country that once belonged to them. They see political struggle as apocalyptic, good versus evil, the people versus the hidden hand. Donald Trump's supporters exhibit this thinking as they demand answers about Epstein from his administration. But unlike past presidents, Trump is a victim and a purveyor. Fictional conspiracy theories are part of his political brand. He rose to political power as a promoter of the claim that Barack Obama was not born in the United States. He launched his second presidential campaign by insisting that the 2020 election had been stolen from him. Now the man who demanded to see the documents faces that request from Speaker Mike Johnson, former Vice President Mike Pence, and Republicans in Congress who are stalling his budget cuts over it. Trump said it was suspicious when Obama didn't silence doubters, but when anyone doubts him, Trump calls it a hoax. Conspiracy theories don't endure because they're always logical. They endure because they offer certainty. That we've seen before. What's new is when the man who rose on the promise of revelations becomes the one holding the secrets.
It's now 7:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
St. Louis Public Library, definitely one of my favorite places, and it's been a pleasure partnering with them for the last, 4 or 5 years now on Book Chat with Debbie Monterrey and St. Louis Public Library. It is our chat group on Facebook, so just go to the search in Facebook and type in Book Chat with Debbie Monterrey and join us. Once a month, we do an exclusive author interview, and coming up Tuesday at noon is the next one with Joan Fernandez, who wrote a book about Vincent van Gogh. It's actually about his sister-in-law, Jo Van Gogh. So if you think that Vincent's brother Theo is the man who saved Vincent's legend, you would be wrong. It was the sister-in-law. Anyway, it's a fascinating book, and we'll talk to Joan about that if you join us on Facebook at Book Chat with Debbie Monterrey and St. Louis Public Library. At slpl.org, it is your summer headquarters. You can get the kids reading, doing activities inside, outside, all around town by signing them up for the Summer Reading Challenge. And there's so many resources. So take advantage of it with your free St. Louis Public Library card, slpl.org, St. Louis Public Library, St. Louis's original search engine.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
At 7:30, we have cloudy skies, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, traffic continues to cruise along out there. It's a nice Friday morning for you. I'm still seeing delays. We had that earlier crash, 143 at Bender Road. I'm still seeing restrictions each way, or at least a backup each way, so I'm assuming restrictions. IDOT said they'd cleared the crash almost a half hour ago, but there's still backed up traffic in the area, so just be careful if you're headed that way. The detour route up in Madison County there, westbound 270 to southbound 255 looks great. Just the Cloverleaf ramp as you transition interstates, the only thing where I see a slowdown. On the Illinois side. On the Missouri side, things continue to look great. I still see some heavy traffic, though, on South 270 from 364 about midway down to Olive. We had debris in the left lane earlier. It was jammed. Now it's just slow, so I think they've cleared the debris, but it's still busy running through there. Eastbound Highway 30 from about West Watson up the hill to 270. That's kind of slow for you as well, but otherwise the rest of these interstates are looking great. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We are still stuck in a hot, humid weather pattern. It's going to be humid today. Showers and thunderstorms possible with a high of 87. Evening thunderstorm in spots tonight. Cloudy, humid, a low of 75. And then tomorrow, hot and humid again with thunderstorms possible, a high of 92. Currently, we have cloudy skies, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Former Missouri Congressman Bill Clay has died at the age of 94. For 32 years, Clay represented St. Louis in the House of Representatives. Family friend and St. Louis attorney Daryl Piggy confirmed the news to KMOX. Piggy was the chief of staff for his son, Lacey Clay, but before that, worked in Clay Sr.'s campaign for mayor of St. Louis in the late 70s.
He showed us how to participate in politics and showed the strength that you need to show to try to be successful, to try to accomplish things for the people that you care about.
Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice has been sentenced to 30 days in jail after authorities said he and another speeding driver caused a chain reaction crash on a Dallas highway last year. Prosecutors say Rice was driving a Lamborghini at 119 miles per hour when he caused the March 2024 wreck. Multiple people were injured. In a statement, he apologized for the harm caused and pledged to make amends to those affected.
Single game tickets are now on sale for some FIFA World Cup events in Kansas City for next year.
And if you're wanting to go to a game, you should start saving your money last year. But don't let the prices scare you away. The tickets that went on sale yesterday also include luxury hospitality packages, not just tickets into the game. Group stage matches range from $1,200 to $3,000 per person. The cheapest package, the club, includes access to the shared lounge space, buffet dining and drinks, a ticket to the game, a gift, and parking. The pavilion package comes with similar amenities, just fancier, $2,000 or more. The business seat starts at $2,800 per person. The private suite starting at $10,000. Standard tickets go on sale later this year.
This news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your money report coming up. It's 7:34.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
It's 7:35. Time for your money report. It is sponsored by Busey Bank. Here's Kimberly Adams.
Good morning. While rival media companies are unloading assets and cutting costs, Netflix continues to show everyone why it's the world's most popular paid streaming service. The company yesterday reported second quarter results that exceeded investor expectations in every major metric, with the revenue growing $11 billion. And that's thanks in part to a steady slate of popular shows in the latest quarter. Meta Platforms continues to raid Apple for artificial intelligence talent. The chief of Apple's language models team left for Meta earlier this month, and now the social media company has poached Apple AI researchers Mark Lee and Tom Gunter for its Superintelligence Labs team. And get ready to pay more for Comcast's Peacock streaming service. The company raised the price by $3 a month for new customers. Starting next week, an increase of almost 38% for the ad-supported plan will take effect. The version with advertising will rise $11 a month, and ad-free plans will increase $17. Current customers will see their rates rise in August. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams, KMOX.
Life doesn't stand still, and neither do your goals. At Busey Bank, we're here to help you move forward with the financial tools, local support, and expert guidance you need to take your next step. Whether you're growing a business, leaving a legacy, or saving for the future, you'll have a team that's ready when you are. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley for i3 Broadband, the internet provider in the Pauley household. I think you'd love it if you had them as well. We've got the 2 gig package at our home, 2 gig upload, 2 gig download mirrored, and we're spending less money than we did with the cable company for lesser service. Plus, right now, they've got savings over $400 beyond their already low standard pricing. You got questions? They've got answers. Call 877-976-0711, and they've got people there who can answer all your questions, or head to their website, i3broadband.com.
Ozzie Smith ready for the flip, and we're ready to start the season. Here we go.
This is Cardinal Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith, and I'm flipping with excitement over the giveaway on Thursday, July 24th. That night, 20,000 fans 16 and older will take home the first ever legendary backflip bobblehead, featuring me, courtesy of Phillips 66. Don't miss the flipping awesome giveaway. We can't wait to see you on Thursday, July 24th. Secure your tickets and learn more at cardinals.com/promotions.
Harry Potter night is at Busch Stadium on Thursday, July 24th, as the Cardinals face off with the Padres in a magical showdown. with a theme ticket. Witches, wizards, and muggles alike will trust the sorting hat and receive a mystery house jersey. Will it be Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, or Slytherin? Head straight to cardinals.com/theme before they disapparate.
Tonight, the Cards, the D-backs. Cameron Total Access, 745. Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:38. Total Information AM continues. House lawmakers approved a package to take back $9 billion previously allocated for foreign aid and public broadcast funding. That includes NPR and PBS. The measure passed just after midnight, well before the end of the day deadline, after which the money would have been spent as originally intended. CBS News congressional reporter Torian Small has details.
We saw immediately after the passage of this package, House Speaker Mike Johnson pretty much echoing the same confidence he had going into this vote, saying that he believes he has the membership in lockstep with the president to get this across the finish line. They were staring down a Friday deadline, which is why they wanted to act quickly and moving this to the president's desk.
Russia is going to great lengths to try to disrupt Ukrainian drone attacks. CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick reports.
In the last 2 months, dozens of regions in Russia have been hit by cell phone connectivity outages. Officials say those disruptions are needed to foil drone attacks. In some regions, Wi-Fi goes out, ride-sharing apps don't work, and ATMs have failed. The measures also come as Moscow cracks down on online freedom. It warned Meta today that its WhatsApp should prepare to leave the Russian market.
It is going on 7:40. We're going to check the roadways here in just a moment. Also the forecast for you, which is going to be hot, humid, and stormy all the way through at least Tuesday. The baseball is back on after the All-Star break, and the Savannah Bananas are heading to town. And it's kind of unbelievable, the crowd the Bananas can pull. So we'll have more on all of that coming your way in just a moment. But first, let's get a check of your ride in with Roger Brand, who is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's still a nice Friday morning. Most folks aren't really seeing the sun, I don't think, either. So that's probably helping at least the eastbounders. This traffic report's a service of Terrace Senior Living of Eureka. So if you're heading out the door right now onto northbound 55, it's a little busy, 67 at Double C, but once you get on 55 around McNutt, north of Bayless, no problem, no delays. North 270 from 55 up to Gravois, 270 both directions around Ladue looks great. Southbound 61 onto eastbound 64 and eastbound 70 coming out of Wentzville, wide open running through there. South 170, the ramp on eastbound 64, that left lane slowing at about the U Club Tower south of Brentwood. So again, not much in the way of an issue or delays there. Downtown, we still look great westbound approaching the Poplar Street or Amusement Veterans Bridges. I do see a little bit of a slowdown right past Highway 50 in Fairview Heights. They're doing road work in that area. And I'm still seeing delays in both directions. Primarily, it looks like eastbound as opposed to westbound, 143 at Bender Road, where we had that earlier injury crash involving a semi. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Check out the Terrace in Eureka for affordable senior living with 24-hour nursing supervision, delicious meals, medication management, and activities. The Terrace is affordable and will work with your Medicaid plan. Go to rspseniorliving.com and look for the Terrace Private Assisted Living.
Not much change in the forecast. Let's see what it's going to be like the next few days. Here's AccuWeather's Heather Zaire.
And we had a little bit of fog that was around earlier that's already starting to lift. We are going to take a little longer to clear the clouds out of here. But as we head into the midday and afternoon, we'll have intervals of clouds and sunshine. It does stay humid, and there will be a couple of showers and a thunderstorm around as we head through the afternoon. The best chance, though, that's going to be south of the city, and that's where you're most likely to encounter flash flooding and any downpours. 87 will be the high today. Tonight, still a thunderstorm this evening, then just clouds and very humid overnight, low about 75. We'll see some sun return tomorrow, and it's going to be a hot and humid day with a high of 92. There's a better chance for a heavy gusty thunderstorm, especially during the midday hours. Heading into Sunday, partly sunny, hot and humid, a thunderstorm or two around with a high of 94. And that doesn't change much for early next week. Still clouds and sun, hot and humid, high 95 on Monday, 98 on Tuesday. And we can't rule out a thunderstorm either day as well. Right now, 74 in St. Peter's, 75 in Florissant, and 74 downtown at the Arch. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zaire on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We'll get you a Redbird report as the second half gets underway tonight. That's coming up in sports.
It is 7:42. The latest snapshot of the economy across a 6-state region that includes Missouri and Illinois shows things holding steady.
Reports on consumer spending have been mixed, but the labor market numbers continue to be solid, generally unchanged. Not a lot of businesses having massive layoffs or anything like that, but also kind of a pullback in hiring. And then inflation pressures remain relatively modest, but contacts do expect some of those non-labor costs to pick up in the coming months.
Chuck Gascon, senior economist in the research division at the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, tells KMOX conditions did improve slightly nationwide, but some areas did show signs of a slowing economy.
The former Mom's Deli building on Jameson in South City has been sold. The new owner says a tenant is lined up. Kyle Kramer with Big Lou Properties tells the Business Journal more details on that tenant will be shared soon. Big Lou bought the property for $235,000. Mom's Deli was a longtime crowd favorite, but closed suddenly earlier this year during a sibling dispute that ended in a court decision that the sister running Mom's Deli could be evicted. The eatery closed that same week.
Beef prices climbing to another record high.
New government numbers show the average price of a pound of ground beef rose to $6.12 in June, up 12% from a year ago. Supply isn't keeping up with demand. The nation's cattle herd has shrunk to its lowest number since 1951. Kim Radiker-Bays raises cattle near Fort Worth.
We've had a lot of drought the past couple of years, and so it's been harder and harder to keep enough grass to feed the cows.
Economists warn President Trump's tariffs and a flesh-eating pest in cattle herds in Mexico could push beef prices even higher. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Those covered by the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, are facing significant premium increases as part of the One Big Beautiful Bill approved by Republicans and signed by President Trump. Dr. Celine Gounder is a CBS News medical contributor and editor-at-large for public health at KFF Health News.
First, a financial help program called Enhanced Premium Tax Credits is ending. These credits have helped millions of people afford their monthly payments, and without them, out-of-pocket costs could go up more than 75%. That could lead healthier people to drop their coverage, which makes prices go up even more for those who stay.
It's now 7:45.
Cards are set to resume the baseball regular season tonight, and they do so with an offense that's just out of the top 10 in terms of batting average in Major League Baseball. They're 13th in on-base percentage and 18th in terms of slugging. Benjamin Hockman of STL Today and the Post-Dispatch joined the Gray Bar Sports Open line last night and talked about what he'd like to see from the Cards offense.
I would like to see Mason win and Victor Scott get on base more. I mean, who wouldn't? They need to hit more consistently, and by doing that, of course, a lot of times, especially with Victor Scott, his singles turn into doubles, if you will, because he steals bases at such a high clip. So getting those guys on base more would be key. And gosh, I mean, the bullpen, some of the guys looked a little shaky towards the end there, but you know, they'll get some break. They're on a break right now. They'll get some rest, and hopefully they bounce back. But and then the other thing is really just, are the Cardinals going to get home runs from anybody? I mean, I think 12 is the team lead right now. This is not a slugging team. Will someone maybe emerge? Will Wilson perhaps hit more of them in the second half? That's a question to ask. And if not, can they still single you to death, if you will, the way they've done in previous games?
Our Redbird Report is sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. From baseball to football, SEC Media Days taking place this week in Atlanta. Mizzou head coach Eli Drinkowitz was asked about the quarterback battle in Columbia.
Obviously, Sam Horn's a guy who's been in our system for a long time, dual threat player, obviously plays baseball at a high level, is coming back from Tommy John surgery. I thought he had an outstanding bowl prep as he was rehabbing that, and really a really good spring, and has really excelled in his maturation. One thing most people don't know about Sam, he's a type 1 diabetic. And so he's been able to, since he's been in college, been able to learn to adapt and train and develop and adjust. And he's really done a lot of good things, understands the system. Bo came in with the right mindset, nothing given, everything earned. Works extremely hard developing his craft. He's a guy who spends a lot of extra time up there, has a chip on his shoulder, the right kind of chip, does a really good job leadership-wise. He was a guy that I got to work with a couple of days at Harmon's, and I'm just impressed with his ability to connect with our team. You know, Matt Zollers, he throws it as well as any quarterback I've ever seen. Is coming back from an ankle surgery. You can tell he's adjusting to the speed of college football, but but very excited about that room and know whoever ends up emerging as the quarterback is going to be in a really good position because he doesn't have to do it all by himself.
College football will be here before we know it. That audio courtesy of Missouri Tigers on SI. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Chris Ranji for Siteman Cancer Center, and you have to know that you are somebody's favorite person, and your health matters not just to you, but it matters to people who care about you. Getting screened early for any cancer, whether it's colon or breast cancer, prostate cancer, or lung cancer, it is important to do that. Siteman has set up a website called GetScreenedNow.com. And when you go to it, it's going to help you find a location nearer you. If you live a little farther out from St. Louis and don't want to make the trip into the city, you can get screened closer to home. GetScreenedNow.com, because for me, I'm over 45. It's time for that colonoscopy. Third leading cause of cancer-related deaths in both men and women. And GetScreenedNow.com will help you find a location that is good for you. Doing it early, really, really important. GetScreenedNow.com.
Fairwinds River's Edge is more than a place to live, it's a place to belong. Come see why we have been voted Best Independent Senior Living Community for 4 years in a row by U.S. News & World Report. We think you'll like it here, and the experts agree. Come see us for yourself. Call to schedule a tour with lunch or to learn more about our upcoming seminar on August 5th, How to Afford Senior Living in This Economy. Find us online at fairwindsriversedge.com.
Experience the magic of the Fabulous Foxes 2025-2026 Broadway season, which includes the return of St. Louis favorite, The Phantom of the Opera, and the spellbinding spectacular Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And right now, KMOX has your chance to win a pair of season tickets for the 2025-2026 season. Prize package includes a pair of tickets for all 8 shows in the subscription package. Register now online at KMOX.com/contests for your chance to win. Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey, it looks like we're going to go roaming with Scott Jagow in just a minute here. So hang on for that and put your thinking caps on. In the meantime, keep your hands on the wheel. Roger Brand's got your update on the ride in from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's a pretty easy drive in for pretty much everybody so far this morning, Debbie. If you're traveling north on 67, it is a little backed up now approaching Double C, but it's not even midway back to Buck Creek, so it's not too extensive. The only interstate slowdowns really are southbound 270, kind of slow south of Olive down to 64, and 64 at the Interbelt, a little bit of the slow going with merge-on traffic there, but nothing backing up in the through lanes of any consequence at all. And on the Illinois side, things continue to cruise along. I am seeing a little bit of a slowdown. 143 at Bender looks like it's thinned out there, but now just a little to the west of there, I'm seeing some slow traffic. Maybe they're removing the damaged semi from the crash. I don't know, but it looks better in Edwardsville than it did earlier, at least. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, we are going to have temperatures that are going to be rising and the humidity is going to stay with us. Plus, we got a chance of some showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Expect a high of 87 degrees, an evening thunderstorm in spots tonight. Otherwise, mostly cloudy and humid with a low of 75. And then tomorrow, clouds and sun, hot and humid. Gusty thunderstorms around mainly during the midday hours with a high of 92. Currently, we have cloudy skies, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Next time somebody says St. Louis, what's St. Louis got?
That means it's time to roam with Scott Jagow. He's been somewhere. He's going to play some clues for us, and we will all try and figure it out along with you at home. Megan Lynch, Joe Pott, I'm Debbie Monterrey. We're ready, Scott.
I think you're going to get this. I almost guarantee you're going to get this by the end.
Okay.
But it might take you a bit. So
Okay.
I'm going to start with the first clue.
We'll hold all guesses until the end.
Okay.
I grew up in this bar and I've seen many shows here. And an interesting, funny thing that kind of happened with the renovation, I never noticed some of the display cases on the wall. The wall color was this really nice light yellow before. The lighting on the display cases now just pops so much more with the slightly darker blue walls.
Okay, so we're in a bar that used to be yellow.
Now it's blue.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't
there
have
we-
Joe on. Wait, where are you? Are you there?
I don't know.
Yeah. There you are.
Yes, I was just
Sorry
saying they're
about that.
renovating said bar.
Very good.
Okay.
You're listening. All right. Let's go to clue number 2.
He always talks just so lovingly and so passionately about this radio show that he ran on Friday nights. And he researched the bands the whole week, and he put together this curated show. And the hope was that we could maybe get back to, a jukebox that maybe plays 45s and could be curated and changed every 3 or 4 months.
Oh, a radio show at the bar that's being renovated.
Fancy jukebox.
A jukebox with records.
Yeah, records. Imagine that.
Try explaining that to your kids.
Mhm.
That's a good point.
Big CDs, kids. Oh, wait, you don't know what CDs are either.
That's great. Okay. So
Okay.
we've got some clues.
All right.
In your head, probably.
We're actually hosting a few comedy shows coming up, so I think the seating will be different for that. There's a local magician, Magic Amanda, who was on Penn and Teller, and she's doing a show here in a couple weeks. So I think that's going to be kind of exciting, kind of
That's
doing
fun.
like different things and kind of curating different types of shows.
Magic Amanda.
Do you know about Magic
No, I
Amanda?
don't. I just love that name.
Sounded like you did.
They rave about Magic Amanda. So I think that's going to be a good show. Apparently, she was on Penn and Teller.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's impressive.
They think she's going to be a star, a
Okay.
national star. Anyway, so this venue, obviously, it's a venue that has shows. That's been said a couple of times. And some of those shows are not just music, comedy, magic, things like that. So it's not a huge venue. It's a small venue.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I've tried so far to throw you off a little bit with the person's voice.
Okay.
So now I'm going to play someone
Now we're
else's
gonna
voice.
now we're gonna get it. I think I know, but now we're gonna get it,
Okay.
right?
I got 2 more clues.
Ed Sheeran, John Legend. Unbelievable the people that have come in here on their way up and a few on their way down. And the intimacy of this room is what makes it so special, because there's not a bad sight line in the room. Everybody can see the eyes of the performers can see their eyes and really interact. And that's critical to have a great concert experience, I think.
Okay. I think I know who that is.
Me too.
It seems like everyone seems to know. Okay. So do you all want to guess at the same time?
Sure.
Is it the
Duck
duck room? Yay!
That was pretty well done. Like,
That was very good, actually. I'm going to play one more clue because it's fun.
Well, I had a huge collection of duck decoys, for one thing. I also have a huge comic book collection with lots of duck-related themed comic books. Duck, it just, the word rhymes with so many other words. like good luck, a fire truck.
Joe Edwards with a collection of something? No.
He has 30,000 records, and that's his daughter, Christine.
Okay.
Who's working with him at the Blueberry Hill and the Duck Room, and renovating it. And it looks beautiful. The lighting is incredible.
For a while, people were afraid it was closing down for good or something.
No, it's not. It's in fact, Charlie Berry, Chuck's grandson, played last night, the first show at the
really
new
neat.
Duck Room. So it's really cool that the jukebox, when Christine was 9, her and her sister, their summer project was to alphabetize the entire jukebox, which had 31,000 records in it.
My goodness.
Yep. It's pretty cool. I mean, anytime you talk to Joe and now Christine, you're going to get good stories.
For sure. All right. The Duck Room has reopened, and Magic Amanda is going to be
Yes,
there.
yep.
All right. Now I have to see Magic Amanda. All right. And we'll hear more on
Sunday morning, 8:20 and 9:20.
That is Scott Jagow roaming St. Louis. It is 7:56.
We started Neovitin because we wanted to create a multivitamin for ourselves. That's why we focus on quality ingredients and formulas with our multivitamins. Neovitin 50 plus multivitamins are formulated with over 20 vitamins and minerals, along with our 4-ingredient physician formulated proprietary blend for the highest quality daily nutritional support. Give Neovitin 50 plus multivitamins a try for yourself. Find them at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
Dive into adventure this summer at the St. Louis Aquarium's Summer of the Shark. Get face to fin with some of the ocean's most awe-inspiring creatures in shark-themed exhibits, jaw-dropping displays, and interactive experiences for the whole family. Whether you're a fin-tastic fan or just curious, there's hands-on fun and fascinating facts around every corner at the St. Louis Aquarium. Don't miss your chance to make a splash. Plan your visit today at stlouisunionstation.com. That's stlouisunionstation.com.
Just
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-979-3168. 800-979-3168. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-979-3168.
Soccer fans, St. Louis City SC hosts English Premier League giants, the Aston Villa Football Club. Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
For residential and commercial heating repairs, service, maintenance, or installation, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. With over 50 years of HVAC service, get in your comfort zone this winter. Visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Let's get a check of the roads now with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, I'm watching fire crews on scene of an outdoor gas leak in a construction area on West 5th Street in Eureka. They may have restrictions on West 5th Street. It's certainly not a restriction on the highway, but I can see it from my vantage point. Highway looks fine. All the highways have been looking fine this morning, as a matter of fact. They're in good shape. We just have the only place we got some trouble is a new crash we have on southbound 270 south of Ladue. Some lane blockage there, so it's a jam at Olive because of that incident that just popped up within the last 10 minutes. But like I said, with that aside, the rest of the highways look great downtown. Still no delays coming across the bridges. The 143 still seeing delays. There must be a moving roadwork operation. It's now the delay's a little closer to 255. From the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Friday. It's July 18th. I'm Debbie Monterrey. 5 shot in South St. Louis last night. The latest from city police after CBS News.
I'm Sean Malone. Which provider did the Board of Police Commissioners choose for the department's body cameras? I've got that story coming up.
Toward appeasing critics, calling for a portion of the Jeffrey Epstein files to be made public. It comes on the heels of a Wall Street Journal report that claims Mr. Trump wrote the late convicted sex offender a revealing letter years back for his 50th birthday. Correspondent Scott McFarland.
This report has prodded the president to now ask his attorney general to release some grand jury transcripts from the Epstein investigation. And moments after the president posted he wanted her to do that, the attorney general, Pam Bondi, posted that she would in fact do that today.
CBS News legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum.
Grand jury proceedings are secret and inviolable, and that's why they are sealed. All sorts of evidence are presented before them, and most of it is not worthy of an indictment. There's no reason to sully someone's reputation unless there is some evidence of criminality. That's what Donald Trump believes the Wall Street Journal has done to him.
People who get their health insurance through Obamacare are facing significant increases in premiums as part of the president's so-called big, beautiful budget bill. CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder.
Most insurers are asking for increases between 10 and 20%, but over a quarter want to raise rates by 20% or more.
The cost of your barbecue is going up.
New government numbers show the average price of a pound of ground beef rose to $6.12 in June, up 12% from a year ago. Supply isn't keeping up with demand. The nation's cattle herd has shrunk to its lowest number since 1951. Kim Radiker-Bays raises cattle near Fort Worth.
We've had a lot of drought the past couple of years, and so it's been harder and harder to keep enough grass to feed the cows.
Economists warn President Trump's tariffs and a flesh-eating pest in cattle herds in Mexico could push beef prices even higher. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Flood alerts are up along the Gulf Coast. Torrential downpours have dumped up to a half a foot of rain in southern Louisiana, sending flood water rushing through the roads and blinding drivers. CBS meteorologist Rob Marciano.
Later on today, we'll see more showers and storms fire up from Lake Charles to Jennings to Lafayette, all the way to Baton Rouge as well. Calm down tonight, then get back into the action tomorrow. So we do have a flood watch. Remains up there, another 2 to 4 inches expected as we go on through the next 36 hours.
A Pittsburgh Steeler now boasts the highest salary for a non-quarterback in NFL history.
Robinson gets blown up by T.J. Watt. As good as anybody in the game.
Watt, an all-pro defensive lineman, has reportedly signed a 3-year, $123 million extension. He's coming off his 7th straight Pro Bowl season. Dow futures up 58, S&P futures ahead 6. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
KMOX-FM Hazelwood, always live on the free Odyssey app.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. The news sponsored by the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. A combination of 5 teen and young adult males recovering after a shootout Thursday night in Tower Grove South. St. Louis Police Major Janice Bockenstruck told Fox 2 at the scene.
There's a lot to do and a lot of surveillance video that we have to go over and other things we have to do before we could go any further into what happened here.
The location of the shooting, Morgan Ford at Beck. Meanwhile, in North St. Louis, a man has died after being shot in the area of Park and Lucille before 10. Homicide detectives have taken over the case. As a federal investigation continues into the bid process for new body-worn cameras for St. Louis City Police, which provider did the Board of Commissioners choose at their first meeting?
I would like to make a motion that we enter into the contract for a 3-year contract with the utility.
The board went with a 3-year deal to keep their current provider, Utility, over a more expensive and expansive contract with Axon. Utility has been going week to week with the department since the previous 5-year deal expired in June, prompting the board to make a quick decision. The board's attorney, Chris Graville, also explains the department's body cam data was also at risk because Utility stores and maintains it as part of the deal. Chief Robert Tracy didn't speak at the meeting, but has been pushing for the change to Axon, whose contract would also provide tasers, other equipment, and higher-end cameras. However, the contract awarded to Axon was initially through a no-bid process, which has prompted a federal investigation. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
St. Louis is getting intentional about safety on the streets. For the first time since the 40s, the city is about to implement a comprehensive transportation and mobility plan.
It's really a very normal thing to just have for cities to have a vision for where they want to go with their transportation infrastructure and which things are important to them. And we haven't had that vision written down for many decades. 1948 officially was the last citywide transportation plan.
Complete Streets Program Manager Scott Ogilvie says besides the number of lanes or bike lanes, the plan also addresses another community concern. The people, he says, want a consistent level of predictable maintenance. You can give your feedback Saturday before the plan takes effect. The last chance to take a look at the plan and give feedback is Saturday at 11 a.m. at St. Alphonsus the Rock Church. Pine Lawn, going under the microscope. In many cases, the state auditor focuses on finances, but in this case, Scott Fitzpatrick says he'll be examining the efficiency and effectiveness of the city's operations.
There has been no proof of any wrongdoing.
KMOX's Michael Calhoun asked Mayor Terry Epps.
I'll just quote this. I know taxpayers in Pine Lawn have been less than thrilled with how the city has been managed in recent years, and we plan to give them a better understanding of how and why their municipality seems to struggle with fundamental concepts such as transparency and accountability. That seems pretty strong.
Yeah, well, we have full transparency and accountability. I think these are all false accusations that have been made, and I'm looking forward to proving that that is the case.
Friends and family mourning the death of former St. Louis Congressman Bill Clay. KMOX political analyst Michael Kelley says Clay grew a political machine for Democrats.
In St. Louis politics, he had a lot of elected officials down the ballot who had allegiance to him and to what the issues that he pushed. And he made a very big consequential difference in St. Louis.
Clay was 94. Former Missouri Congressman Billy Long set to be sworn in as IRS commissioner today. Long once advocated for abolishing the IRS. He takes over an agency struggling with staffing cuts and leadership turnover. He was confirmed by the Senate last month despite Democratic concerns over his ties to a tax credit scheme and campaign contributions linked to his nomination by then President-elect Donald Trump. Healthcare and federal cuts a big issue for Illinois' U.S. Senate candidates. Robin Kelley concerned about the impact if Medicaid cuts do result in the closing of rural hospitals.
The lack of healthcare access is a big issue. And then if you don't have the infrastructure to be able to do telehealth and telemedicine, then people are going to miss out.
Raja Krishnamurthy says everyone will feel impacts from the cuts no matter how much money they make. Juliana Stratton this week focused on cuts to the food stamps program. The Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprise Utilization Program has been suspended. The St. Louis Development Corporation runs the local certification program. They've paused it because of Trump administration targeting diversity. According to the Business Journal, the city is working to accommodate changes in the federal landscape and ask developers and contractors to contact them about how it might impact ongoing projects. It's 8:08, traffic and weather in 2 minutes.
Man, the heat has been killer for our comfort in the last week or so. We got swamped, and I'm not going to tell you to call me when we can't take care of you in a reasonable amount of time. But I've been hearing this, and it's interesting to where people want to get prices for new equipment. A word of advice on what you replace it with if you do not call me. Keep this in mind. Don't jump the shark and say, well, the more I spend, the more my bills go down. You and only you know what you spend a month on your utilities for cooling and heating. If you were told you need a new air conditioner or you know it's just not working for you, call me. Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The only number, Missouri and Illinois, is 314-293-2600. God bless.
Everyone needs to have at least one person in their corner in life. When you don't, it's an extremely lonely and frightening place to be. But knowing you have that one person gives you peace and hope. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Since 1988, myself and my firm have been in so many corners for so many clients for so many years. We became the largest injury firm in the world for a reason, and it's not even close. We fought like hell for you. We fight the bullies, automobile insurance companies, the makers of unsafe products, medical providers who injured or killed their own patients. It has been such an honor and made my life complete. If you ever need us, it's easy. On your mobile device or computer, visit forthepeople.com, and then we get to work 24/7. Whether you're hurt in a car crash, injured on the job, or have questions about your Social Security, we're here for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
8:10 at Total Information AM. Let's see how things are rolling on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, the only interstate trouble spot we had was the crash southbound 270 at Ladue. It looks to me like it's been cleared. The front end is opening up, but we are backed up past Olive on southbound 270 as the delays begin about midway between Page and Olive. So there's still a bit of a jam, but from what I can tell, the lanes are open through the area. My couple of vantage points at it. So I think we're going to be improving from here on out, but it is backed up at this time. That's the only interstate backup we've had this morning. If you're traveling on these other area highways, I haven't seen anything to speak of. Now, I do see some restrictions, I believe. I mentioned at the top of the hour about a large outdoor gas leak in a construction site. I'm sure they struck a main gas line. I see the fire crews standing on West 5th Street in Eureka out there west of 109. So I believe there are restrictions on West 5th Street because they're standing right in the middle of the roadway there as they deal with this situation. And I know they've been evacuating some nearby businesses. I heard them mention the most recent one, the AutoZone nearby, because of this gas leak situation. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, cloud, sun, and humid for today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm this afternoon, mostly south of the city. Watch for flash flooding with any downpours, high 87. After an evening thunderstorm, it'll be rather cloudy and rather humid with a low of 75 tonight. Clouds and sun, hot and humid tomorrow. A heavy gusty thunderstorm is mostly going to be around during the midday hours, high 92. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have cloudy skies right now, 74 degrees in Florissant, 73 in St. Peters, and 73 degrees downtown at the Arch. You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. Here's Debbie Monterrey.
Where are people's manners? I know a lot of us think that at certain times. Well, how rude. The changing forms of polite behavior is a talk that is coming up at the Missouri Historical Society's Library and Research Center this Saturday morning. Emily Jaycox is an MHS librarian. And this really captured my attention, Emily, because people say that all the time, right? People are so rude. Where are people's manners?
That's right. This topic got on my radar because in our library collections, we have a whole bunch of old etiquette books from past times about what was mannerly. And I always thought this was kind of cool. And I started flipping through them and thought, some of this stuff sounds like what we would consider mannerly today. And others of this stuff is like so different. So I thought that would make a neat talk.
When you're looking through all the archives of etiquette and stuff, does it seem like maybe things are changing more rapidly now? I feel like I'm still of the generation where I like to send thank you notes, an actual note. And I really tried to teach my children that, they're older, they're Gen Z, I guess. My daughter sometimes does, but they're like okay with a text, but my mother, their grandmother, a text is rude.
Yeah, I think that that's something that's changed a whole lot in the past couple of generations. There are still people who remember the written thank you note as the standard, and other people who say, as long as they know you thought of them and thank them for the gift, does it have to be on paper? Let's, send a text. Let's save the environment. There's a lot of different ways of approaching good manners. It's not all one thing.
Sure. And invitations are another thing, because I think younger generations don't RSVP the way some of us older folks would like them to.
Yeah, and if you're trying to get a sense of like how many chairs or how much food to make or something, that the host is always interested in knowing how many people are coming, but some people just let things roll. And I think electronic invitations have made that a lot more up to the last minute.
What have you seen as far as changes of we're so casual now, the way we dress, the way we pretty much do everything. When you look at 70, 80 years ago, when everyone dressed up for everything, gloves, hats, and, hose.
I have some things about hats and gloves in the talk. And in some cases, it was fairly universal. I think when fewer people had their own cars, people, even fairly wealthy people, were going to be spending more time like out on the street, unprotected by the weather. So things like hats and gloves served a very practical purpose. But then there were ways to express yourself, make a fashion statement through your hats and gloves that could also, if there were people who wanted to figure out how to set themselves apart from others as like more genteel, more elegant, more whatever, they could use hats and gloves and other habits and manners to signal that to other people.
That's interesting, because most women no longer wear hats, hardly ever, but a lot of men still do, except they're baseball hats and they never take them off.
That's right. That's been a really interesting change in more recent years. And I think a lot of historians think that one of the big landmarks there was when John F. Kennedy was elected president. At the time, it was just when men went outdoors, they wore a hat. When they went inside, they took it off. And he wasn't in the custom of wearing a hat. And a lot of men took that as the opportunity to just give it up. And then things started to evolve, as you say, with the ball cap. That's just been a whole different way of approaching a hat.
Right. And when did it become okay to no longer take your hat off inside?
I'm not really sure. And I think manners don't always change at the same pace in every place and in every group of people. But I can certainly remember times where if a man wore his hat indoors, he would get funny looks. Mm-hmm. And now that isn't happening.
No. Sometimes you don't recognize a coworker because they're not wearing a baseball hat. You're like, who are you? Oh, yes.
Right. Another thing that there used to be hat checks. Like if you went to a public place,
right.
You went to the theater or a restaurant, there would be someone to take all the hats that all the men's were wearing because they weren't supposed to wear them inside. And now that's kind of disappeared.
Now, looking at good manners, table manners, I know some people can be very intimidated. There's some people still will have their kids take a class so they know which silverware to use. But at one point, I know one theory is that this was taught to people to put everybody sort of on an even footing, but then not always.
Right. I think that there's, just as you said, manners can be used in both ways. They can use to help make everyone feel like they know what's going on and are equally comfortable in a situation, but they can also be used to sort of intimidate or as put downs. And table manners, if you're a wealthy person and you can afford 5 kinds of forks and 3 kinds of spoons, and in your table setting, and someone who doesn't have access to that stuff is a guest in their house, they're going to be very overwhelmed.
What kind of items might people see when they come to your how rude changing forms of polite behavior talk at the Library and Research Center?
So we're going to have some of those old etiquette books out. We're also going to have some product catalogs of things that people could buy in the past that were like a lot in use. Like there's a lot of etiquette around a pocket handkerchief. That's not really a thing anymore. So various catalogs. We have some old magazines that have ads that have some pretty amusing things to look at for us now. Just kind of a variety.
And should people register for this?
It's free and it's there's no charge. It would help if you could register. It would be very polite of you to register because then we'll know how many chairs to put out and so forth. And you can do that at mohistory.org/events and then just look for Saturday, July 19th and you'll see it.
It's at 9:30 at the Library and Research Center on Skinker. Emily Jaycox is an MHS librarian. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And again, that's How Rude, Changing Forms of Polite Behavior, Saturday at 9:30 at the MHS Library and Research Center on Skinker. Coming up next on Total Information AM, Roblox says it is enhancing security for kids who like to chat while they game. We'll get more on that from Eliza Jacobs, Senior Director of Product Policy at Roblox.
Home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock, masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
8:20, time for a check of the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, I've been tweeting out some updates for this large gas main at this construction site on West 5th Street in Eureka. West 5th Street is still closed there west of 109. It's close to the AutoZone, just east of the AutoZone. If you're familiar with Eureka, in the area there, you know where that stretch is. It is shut down again because of this large outdoor gas leak, and they have evacuated several of the businesses, including that AutoZone. Southbound 270, they cleared their crash we had at Ladue, but there's still stop-and-go pockets midway from Page down to Olive through the Ladue area. Otherwise, the rest of the highways continue to cruise along for you. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Roger. And we're going to have another day of hot and humid conditions. Cloudy right now, and it'll stay that way most of the day because we also have a chance for showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, especially south of the city. And we could get some flash flooding with any of the downpours that we get today. Expect a high of 87 degrees. Right now, we have cloudy skies, 73 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
On the next Business of Family Business, we'll meet Walter Knoll of Walter Knoll Florists. That would be Walter Knoll III. His family's been in the floral business since at least the 1880s in Germany. He's 5th generation. Is there a 6th? Find out the answer to that about trends in the industry and how this family business is planning for the future. I'm Debbie Monterrey. The Business of Family Business is sponsored by Clayton Capital Partners, and you'll hear it here Saturday only on KMOX.
Soccer fans, the Premier League is coming to STL. St. Louis City SC will host English Premier League giants Aston Villa Football Club Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. Wednesday, July 30th at 7:30 p.m. That's stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
If you have an unpaid debt to the IRS that you can't pay,
Please hear this special notice. Specially approved IRS relief programs designed to aid delinquent taxpayers are now in effect that can significantly improve your financial situation. Depending on your circumstances, you may qualify to have your tax problem resolved in your favor and may even have your back taxes reduced by thousands or eliminated entirely. A relief hotline has been established by Community Tax for you to call and see if you qualify at 800-506-6012. If you owe the IRS back taxes that you can't afford to pay, don't let the IRS trick you into thinking you have no way out. Our highly accredited tax professionals will let you know what you qualify for and how much you can save. We may be able to stop all liens, garnishments, levies, and save you thousands. Call and see if you qualify for this taxpayer relief at 800-506-6012. 800-506-6012. That's 800-506-6012.
Speeding while driving gives you less time to react. Another car could turn out in front of you. A pedestrian could be walking their dog. Follow the speed limit to keep them safe. Speeding catches up with you. Paid for by NHTSA.
You're back with Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. Do you know for certain who your kids are talking to when they chat on a gaming platform? Roblox says it wants to give you some assurance that your kid will only be able to communicate with someone you know. Eliza Jacobs is Senior Director of Product Policy at Roblox. They tell me the company has launched new facial age estimation to be able to verify users 13 and up.
So what happens is that you'll take a video, a selfie video, and that's really to check that you're a real person, a live person sitting in front of a camera. It's, you're not using a picture or something, and the technology will estimate your age. And if we estimate that you are 13 and up, you will get access to some new features that allow you to chat with your real life friends on Roblox in a private setting using less filters. If we're not able to estimate your age, or you think we've done it wrong, if you're 15 and we say we think maybe you're 12 and you don't get verified, you'll have some other options, including getting a parent involved who will be able to upload their own ID and verify their age that way. So we do have possibilities for folks who the technology doesn't work for, but we think by and large, this is going to be really an easy process, and we're also really focused on privacy protection. So the only information we're getting back from this technology is whether you're in the right age bucket, if you're 13 or over or 18 or over. We're not getting any other private information. We're not doing sort of facial recognition, and we will throw that data away after 30 days. We only keep it really to prevent any fraud or reuse of the same face to verify more than one account.
So when it comes to that facial age estimation and the video that families would provide for this, where does that get stored?
Yeah, we are using a third-party vendor called Persona, and they will be storing the data just for a limited amount of time. And it is a live selfie video. So it's not like a video that you're uploading. You're taking it within their system. They're sending us back information on what age the technology believes you to be. And that's what we're keeping, just to know which set of features you should have access to, who should be able to talk to, all of that.
What other parental controls will be there?
We are also launching some parental insights for parents of teens. So up until now, parental controls have really been for our younger users. So parents can connect their account to their child's Roblox account, and they can see screen time, they can see spend limits, and they can see who their kids are trusted connections with. So one of the things this facial age estimation technology is unlocking is the ability to connect with your real life friends, either by using a QR code that you scan in real life with your buddy, or by using the contacts in your phone. And if you are both estimated to be 13 and over, and you've connected with your friend in that way, you will be a trusted connection on the platform, and parents will have insight into who their kids' trusted connections are on the platform.
Now, I understand that Roblox did survey parents. What did you ask them, and what did they tell you they wanted to see?
We talk to parents all of the time, and so we're constantly learning from them and understanding what their concerns are. And I think one of the biggest ones that came out of this most recent set of conversations is they're really concerned about who their kids are talking to. and how old the other people are on the other side of that conversation. And so we're trying to solve those problems with trusted connections. So again, these are people that you know in real life, your friends from school, your friends from camp. You can only connect with these people using this real life method of QR code or phone contacts. And we're adding facial age estimation so that we know that you're not talking to someone that you maybe met in real life, but who's much too old. And so in that way, we're really addressing parents' concerns of not knowing who their kids are interacting with online.
Go over those age ranges again of, what controls exist for what ages.
Yeah, so right now on the platform, users under 13 are not allowed in any kind of private chat at all, and that won't change with this launch. Now, if you go through facial age estimation and we estimate that you're 13 and up, you'll be able to chat in private spaces, but just with these trusted connections. So just with your friends from school, maybe your cousin that you don't get to see all the time, things like that. And the only way that you'll be able to chat with someone who we've estimated to be 18 or older is if we know that you know that person in real life. And again, we know so many kids that are talking to their older siblings that are in college, or to their cousins, or to their aunts and uncles, things like that. So we do want to enable that use case, but again, only if we've estimated everybody's age and we know that you know them in real life.
That is Eliza Jacobs, Senior Director for Product Policy for Roblox. Coming up, Stuart McMillan will tell us who are the Savannah Bananas. It's 8:28. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling a bit uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
It's now 8:30. Let's see how things are moving on the roads. We head to the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. How's it look, Roger?
Well, it's about the same, Megan. The only place we have an issue on the interstates right now is on southbound 270. We had that earlier crash at Ladue. They cleared it. Traffic is still backed up from Olive down through Ladue on southbound 270. They were trying to get everything wrapped up and out of the traffic lanes. And we still have the restrictions on West 5th Street in Eureka. It's West 5th Street out near the AutoZone there. It's about midway between 109 and Six Flags, I guess, roughly where the restriction is. So it's shut down there, and that's because of that large outdoor gas main leak in the area that they're still dealing with and trying to shut off, and they have evacuated local businesses nearby as a result. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, it looks like we are going to have mostly cloudy skies, maybe a little peak of sun, but it's going to be humid, and we will see some showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Expect a high of 87. Right now, we have cloudy skies, 73 degrees in downtown St. Louis. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch, and now Stuart McMillan has everything you need to know about the Savannah Bananas.
Crazy.
Backflip.
Nutty.
Catches the ball. Are you kidding me?
Wacky.
Underneath it. Tornado catch.
And bananas.
Wow.
Potassium enthusiasts from around the world. This is not baseball.
If that's all the time I had to tell you about the Savannah Bananas, you probably would be well informed and could turn off this broadcast. But lucky for you, I've got time to tell you all about this barnstorming form of America's pastime called banana ball.
As Jocelyn Allo dunks this one into right field, and in her final banana ball game, she comes through with the go-ahead point here in the 8th inning.
The Savannah Bananas were founded in 2016. Initially, they were competing in the Collegiate Summer Coastal Plain League, winning 3 championships. However, in 2022, they shifted to playing banana ball exclusively, both at home and as a barnstorming team on their Banana Ball World Tour, playing against their rival team, the Party Animals.
And it's dancing time for the Party Animals.
On the surface, banana ball is just baseball with a bunch of funky rules. For instance, games are won by points. Most runs in an inning get a point, except for the final inning where every run counts. Batters can steal first base at any point during their at-bat. And my favorite, a foul ball caught by a fan in the stands counts as an out.
Let's go, girls.
Banana ball is now a nationwide phenomenon thanks to social media and the infectious style of humor infused into America's game. A man on stilts will come up to bat. Players, umpires, and even coaches will break out in dance routines. And there's a senior citizen dance team called the Banana Nanas.
Oh, boy, here come the rest of the Nanas.
The interesting thing is that the Savannah Bananas aren't really doing anything new here. The way they present the game of baseball might be new, but barnstorming is a rather old concept. During the Golden Age, Negro League stars Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson traveled extensively, bringing to town their style of game. Even MLB stars Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig would form all-star teams and tour in the offseason to earn extra money.
Paul and Dizzy were keeping them busy with heat and curve.
Cardinals legends Dizzy and Daffy Dean went on a barnstorming tour that included a game against the Kansas City Monarchs in the Negro Leagues.
Hit number 3,000.
But the invention of TV and radio really killed off barnstorming.
Swing. Look at there. Look at there. Look at there. McGuire's number 61. McGuire's flight 61 headed for Planet Maris.
Because for the first time, folks could see and hear their heroes. That's, of course, until things went bananas.
Pardon me while I stand up and applaud.
Baseball in St. Louis.
Stuart
Feel like
McMillan,
everything's
KMOX
clouded
News.
by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
We asked parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
8:35 on 104.1 FM KMOX. It is time to check your money report. It's sponsored by Eamon Gattner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Kimberly Adams.
Good morning. Stocks advanced in Thursday trading. The major averages posted gains ranging from 0.5% to 0.75%. The Nasdaq and the S&P 500 closed at record highs. Netflix had a strong second quarter. The streaming video company reported better than expected results after the markets closed. The company's numbers topped forecasts in every major metric, and the company raised its outlook for the year. And for months, Federal Reserve officials have stayed on track with their policy of waiting for a clearer picture of the economy before cutting interest rates. Well, now, at least one Fed official says the reduction should happen now. Fed Governor Christopher Waller yesterday said policymakers should cut interest rates to support a labor market that is showing signs of weakness. He believes it makes sense to cut the policy rate by 25 basis points, saying the risk of a weaker jobs market is greater and sufficient to do so. Fed officials meet July 29th through the 30th in Washington. With your Bloomberg Money Report, I'm Kimberly Adams on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Tom Ackerman for Busey Bank and Building Community. We are proud to recognize Doorways as a building community partner. Doorways helps those who are invisible and ignored by society, people navigating poverty, homelessness, and serious illnesses like HIV. While HIV has become treatable, the number of cases continues to rise in the disenfranchised community. Building community means nobody should be invisible. Learn more about Doorways at doorwayshousing.org.
This is Pat Buring, Executive Vice President of Busey Bank.
I'm so proud to recognize Doorways, the only agency in the region dedicated to providing housing to individuals living with HIV and their family members. Doorways sees to it that clients receive on-site services to manage their lives, opening doorways to independence and opportunity. That's what building community is all about. Join Busey. Get involved as we continue building the communities we call home.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary. Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Soccer fans, St. Louis City SC hosts English Premier League giants, the Aston Villa Football Club. Wednesday, July 30th, 7:30 p.m. at Energizer Park. Reserve your seat for this historic match now at stlcitysc.com/tickets. St. Louis City versus Aston Villa, presented by Purina.
For all station contest rules, go to KMOX.com/rules.
Cloudy skies, 74 degrees at 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern are in merger talks. It would create the largest railroad in North America that would connect East and West coasts. An advisory board convened by OpenAI says it should continue to be controlled by a nonprofit because the artificial intelligence technology it's developing is too consequential to be governed by a corporation alone. Coming up on KMOX, Hancock and Kelley. First, though, a check of the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we're continuing to cruise along out there. The South 270 jam is pretty well dissipated at Olive. It's just a little slow at Olive briefly. It really is pretty much cleared out as far as I'm concerned. The only thing we have ongoing still out there, nothing on the interstate, just a little slowdown eastbound 270 approaching 203. But we still have West 5th Street shut down in Eureka. Aspire just brought in some equipment like a trackhoe to work on this large outdoor gas main leak. They have West 5th Street is closed about midway between 109 and Six Flags over there near the AutoZone, and they've had to evacuate some of those local businesses. So that's an ongoing situation, not impacting Highway 44, though, in the area. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Time for the Friday edition of Hancock and Kelley.
You two belong together.
John Hancock, Michael Kelley on News Radio 1120 KMOX.
Happy Friday, John Hancock.
Hey there.
How are you?
All is well. Tell the people about Ferris.
I've got a plant.
Yeah.
I bought him like a year ago. He's thriving, brother.
Ferris the plant.
Yeah. First, commitment I made in terms of another being that I had to feed.
It's
and
the
give water
only
to.
other living thing in your condo is Ferris.
I feed him. The key to
what do you feed Ferris?
A house plant, the key is to not overwater.
Yes.
I learned that from my mother.
Yeah.
The most dangerous thing you can do with a house plant, just keep giving it too much water.
Yeah.
It'll kill him.
Yeah.
So he gets water every 5-10 days.
Wow.
And he's still going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm proud
Do
of
you have plants?
We got plants, buddy.
All outside though, right?
Yeah.
No, nothing inside.
That is correct. Yes.
Are you taking St. Georgian to see the Savannah Bananas this weekend?
I am not.
Why not?
It doesn't do anything for me, but I do find it interesting that they have sold out 2 games.
Yeah.
Busch Stadium completely sold out.
So what's that mean? 40-something thousand people?
Yeah. And we just had the Cubs in town not too long ago, and the stadium was half full. So there's been a theory out there that people aren't going to Busch Stadium because of the crime problem. And I think the fact that the Savannah Bananas have sold out the stadium for 2 nights kind of refutes that argument.
Well, the theory that people aren't going to Busch Stadium because of crime alone is kind of somewhat a fantasy, right? Don't you think we have the perfect storm happening right now? This is a team that's been on a several decade run that's clearly going through a rebuilding.
Yeah.
The fans since COVID, it's been problematic. We haven't seen the resurgence. It's been, quite honestly, the product hasn't been what it's been in the past. So that's number one. There hasn't been an investment in getting new talent. And then you couple that with, the continued expansion away from the city of St. Louis. I don't know that it's necessarily specific to crime that people aren't coming down. I think it plays a major role. But don't you think that part of the reason people aren't showing up at the games is because the team's not that great?
Yeah, although it's a better brand of baseball this year than we've seen the last couple, and the Cardinals are still competitive. It kind of reminds me of the mid 70s. This is before you were born. But the Cardinals, that whole decade of the 70s, they didn't go to the playoffs, and they had, a fairly decent team for a good chunk of that. Lou Brock, Gibson, the 74 team came very close to making the playoffs, but they didn't. But the attendance at Old Busch Stadium during that decade was no great shakes.
But isn't the St. Louis fan, most of them, let's say anybody older than 10, 15 years old, we're a little spoiled, right? We're the kind of people who are used to eating filet.
Yes.
And right now that's not the case. And so the Savannah Bananas, I get that it's a baseball thing, but isn't it more than an event? Isn't it more of an event than just a baseball game?
Maybe.
And it's a once in a lifetime chance to go see them. I mean, I would bet that even people who might be nervous about crime, etc., would make it happen because it's an event.
Well, and I think you're going to see, in the sold out stadiums over the weekend, you're going to see a lot of families, young kids, moms and dads, which is not your typical baseball crowd.
Mm-hmm. Have you watched one of these on ESPN yet?
I've seen little clips, but I mean, nothing sustained.
They've done it a couple of weekends. I don't know if it's Friday or Saturday night they have with the Bananas, and it's live on TV. And I get the gist of it. It appears it's a timed deal. I mean, it starts and ends in a reasonable period of time. The scoring's kind of weird and unique. And to me, it's a giant Harlem Globetrotters show with a little bit of element of surprise in that I don't think it is a predetermined outcome.
Yeah. I think the comparison to the Globetrotters is apt. And, it's an entertainment event, and a lot of families are going to go, and I hope they enjoy it.
Did you ever go to a Globetrotter game back in the day?
Never did.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Watched them on TV.
Yep, me too.
Well, if you're coming in for the Savannah Bananas, I think many of us would be concerned if you're coming through our airport. I don't know if you got to pay attention to any of that disaster that happened over the last week.
It was Sunday
of last week. We had this huge Seventh-day Adventists convention that took place in St. Louis. Took place over about 10 days, brought in 55, 60,000 folks who were in downtown St. Louis meeting, spending money. And John, obviously the convention ends last Sunday. What do? You head to the airport, get in your Uber to grab your car or to grab an airplane and head home. And most of our visitors were greeted by 3 and 4 hour long lines that you have to see the visual for it to do it justice. And it doesn't make any sense to me, the excuse that, this was the busiest day of the year. You knew it was going to be the busiest day of the year if that's the case. You can't show up to the airport without a ticket. They tell you sometimes months in advance, on this day, I'm going to be at your airport. And how in the world you couldn't be prepared to be able to deal with this at a time that you're saying also, here's what we need to do. We've got this new plan for the airport and we've got this together. I don't know, man. I kind of feel like a lot of things in St. Louis, we've got to recalibrate here and kind of understand what's going on.
So was it a lack of staffing that caused the problem on Sunday?
Yeah. So you have the what is it? The TSA was there, but it was really people wanting to check their bags with Southwest, and then all the services that go along with that. Then when you have long lines of people, now you have backups of cars. You don't have people to move the cars. You don't have enough traffic and security. I mean, it just was a perfect storm of nonsense.
Yeah.
And some people who may have had a pleasant 10-day experience in St. Louis got to spend the last 8 of it dealing with something that just appeared to be a basic thing that shouldn't fail.
Well, you hate to see it. And you have to wonder, in a city that's desperate to bring convention business here, does that experience at the airport potentially end that group coming back?
Yeah, that would be the concern, right? And I'm sure if you own hotels or restaurants and stuff, man, that Seventh-day Adventists, you had to have felt some of the intangible waves that came as a result of it. And like you said, when you're scraping for the bottom of the bucket to keep things moving, you can't make the simple mistakes. And this one just seems to be absolutely fundamentally structurally simple.
That man is Michael Kelley. I'm John Hancock. When we come back, man, this Jeffrey Epstein stuff is getting kind of interesting out there. That's next on KMOX.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-885-9700. 800-885-9700. That's 800-885-9700.
Selling your car online sounds easy. Snap a few pics, list a price, then what? Wait weeks, haggle with strangers? At Central Ford, we actually make it easy to sell your car. Visit Central Ford Kirkwood or Westport, and our expert appraisers will give you a fast, fair offer on the spot. Or skip the trip and get an instant quote at centralford.com. No guesswork, no games, just the best price. Visit centralford.com today. Get more at Central Ford.
It doesn't take a lot to make a big difference.
That's why we've teamed up with Jerry Kelley Heating and Cooling to bring you 100 acts of kindness.
For the next 6 months, the Chris and Amy Show is challenging you to spread kindness in simple, meaningful ways. No big budget needed.
Write a thank you note, help a neighbor, surprise someone with a smile. It all counts.
Let's prove that kindness is contagious. Share your acts with us by using hashtag 100KindActs.
Because a little kindness goes a long way.
It is the Hancock and Kelley
Yes,
show on KMOX. John, we lost Congressman Clay,
We did.
Bill Clay Sr. Yesterday. It was announced at 90-something he had passed away. 96, a historic congressman, first black congressman from from the state of Missouri, a civil rights pioneer involved in so much of the struggle of in the 50s and 60s, and then ultimately was one of the great advocates for the city of St. Louis at a time when, believe it or not, the St. Louis region was represented in the city of St. Louis by 3 different congresspeople.
Yeah.
Bill Clay was one of them, and helped bring MetroLink and so many other things that happened.
Yeah, and a pioneer in terms of the Black Caucus in Congress. He really was one of the founders of the Congressional Black Caucus, which still exists to this day. Between he and his son, they occupied that congressional seat for the better part of 4 decades.
Yeah.
And a tremendous legacy. He's also known for the work he did for the post office. Was a really a big advocate for encouraging the postal office, and yeah, he leaves a great legacy. There's no question about it.
Yeah, and so we rest in peace, Congressman Clay, and remember some of the glory days. I have to tell you one personal story.
Yeah,
went to Washington D.C. with my father. He and Congressman Clay are arguing very strenuously. I'm like 10 or 11 years old with each other over a table. Made me very uncomfortable. End of the meeting, guy gets up, gives my dad a hug, and he says, "Kid," he goes, "this is how it works." And then he handed me a book called Just Permanent Interest, which is a book he wrote. And the thesis of it is that exactly that. Your enemy today may be your friend tomorrow. find a way to always get along. And I got to see that lesson right there in front of me. It's kind
Wow.
of cool.
That's a great story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of a story that just, well, I guess this won't go away. Many in the media think it's a great story. It's actually a terrible story.
Yeah.
And that's this Jeffrey Epstein stuff. Now it's turned that the Trump administration came out the other day and said there was no conspiracy here. There's nothing else to hand out. The president even insulted a lot of the people who were pushing this Epstein narrative. The president's standing by, making sure nothing else is being given out as it relates to Jeffrey Epstein, but he's paying a political price.
Yeah, less of a political price, I think, than some believe. Now, this stuff, if true, and the Wall Street Journal published a note that Trump sent to Jeffrey Epstein on his 50th birthday, and I mean, it's disturbing. The whole story is disturbing. This is maybe the largest child sex ring in the history of the world. And Epstein was clearly in the middle of it. And clearly Donald Trump was close to Epstein. And I suspect that there's probably more news that's going to break on this thing.
Yeah, and it seems like the president's in an untenable position based on the fact that he actually helped promote this theory that there was stuff that needed to come out on Jeffrey Epstein. He played that throughout his campaign, saying, when I get there, I'll do it. And now he's reversed it. I guess it's proof of, hey, you get on side of that bull, you better be careful. If he bucks you off, he may be coming right back at you.
Yeah, but the other thing, too, and this is where, who knows? Nobody knows. But you would think if the Biden administration was sitting on an evidentiary fact set of things that implicated directly Donald Trump with underage sex trafficking, that would have come out during the campaign.
Or professionals were doing their job.
Well, that could be,
and keeping it concealed.
That could be as well.
Because I think that as well. I mean, it's interesting, right? Look, this Jeffrey Epstein's a dirtball. We agree.
Totally.
Go get him. Whatever. I think we ought to get to the bottom of it. But as a person who this wasn't consuming my daily life, I found it interesting that it really was consuming a lot of the folks on the MAGA right throughout the campaign, etc. And now it appears to be consuming the lives of many of the mainstream media, including Democrats, because it's a political chip. And it's somewhat strange to watch. Do you kind of see that point?
Yeah. Obviously, the
Democrats are on the offense with this. I know it's crazy.
Yeah. And I do think, it's a significant story. What that man did to so many young girls is, tragic. And if Donald Trump was part of that, if he was involved in it,
could it be fatal for him? Politically fatal for him?
I don't know. I think there's a pretty good percent of the public out there that's with Donald Trump regardless. And because regardless has happened over and over and over and over again, and they're still with him. And his approval numbers, they're not great, but they're certainly not. Mid-40s.
Didn't you find it interesting? Because the only thing we usually hear about Donald Trump's health is, oh my gosh, he's the fittest president ever. And then all of a sudden, in the midst of this the other day, we got a rather somewhat serious but common diagnosis about the president's health.
Yeah.
They never been transparent about that stuff. And suddenly, right in the middle of this, we're looking for something to change the subject.
You think that's what prompted?
How could it not be?
Yeah.
How could it not be?
Yeah.
I mean, they deny. I mean, they're still going by the fact that he weighs 215 pounds. Right. I mean, this was a distraction from my standpoint. Hey, so we're going to be on Fox 2, tomorrow, Sunday morning.
Yeah, 8:30.
8:30, you can hear us. You can also hear us on Sunday morning with Scott on Total Information Sunday.
Yes, when I happen to recall that we're supposed to do that.
Yes, and then today, you and I are going to stick around because Chris and Amy are going to come rolling in.
Yeah, Chris and Amy are up next. They got a big show today, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I think they're going to talk to the pitcher for the Savannah Bananas, and we'll all be listening to that.
Is he like Meadowlark Lemon? Is he like the famous one?
Well, you'll have to stay tuned, buddy, because you got to find out what's going on.
I don't know anything about the Bananas.
Chris and Amy are next right here on KMOX.
Banana Ball is this weekend at Busch Stadium. We'll chat with Savannah Bananas pitcher and St. Louis native Noah Niznik, plus St. Louis City broadcaster on Y98, Dale Shilley, and it's Friday, so we've got Hancock and Kelley. It all starts at 9 a.m. on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Ozzie Smith ready for the flip, and we're ready to start the season. Here we go.
This is Cardinal Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith, and I'm flipping with excitement over the giveaway on Thursday, July 24th. That night, 20,000 fans 16 and older will take home the first ever legendary backflip bobblehead, featuring me, courtesy of Phillips 66. Don't miss the flipping awesome giveaway. We can't wait to see you on Thursday, July 24th. Secure your tickets and learn more at cardinals.com/promotions.